now time for the IFL Game of the Week on BCSN.
Well, we made it. This is Stadio Bruno Benelli in Ravenna along the Adriatic Sea, the site of Italian Bowl 43, and it's a rematch of last year's game at the Glass Bowl between the Parma Panthers, the defending champions, and 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗃 𝗀𝘆, who won it all 2 years ago. Big difference between last year and this year. This time, we've traveled several thousand miles to be here. Mason Lowry and Nick Guide, great to have you along, and hello from Ravenna. You know, at the start of May, I don't think either of us would have imagined that this would be the Italian Bowl matchup like we got last year. Parma and the Guelfi each struggled at the start of the year in certain aspects, but to the credit of both of these American-led coaching staffs, they've really found their footing over the last month or so.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Mason. Parma found its way defensively, offensively towards the end of the season, had two great games in their wild card semifinal game defensively, really showed up similarly to what they did last year towards the end of the season, getting to the Italian Bowl in Toledo as well.
𝗦𝗀𝗃 𝗀𝘆, they've been so good defensively all season long. Offensively, they find their feet as well as their offensive line play has improved. And I think O-line play, Nick, is going to be absolutely critical tonight because both teams want to run the football at all times. If they're going to run it 50 times and throw it 10, I think that suits them just fine. The trouble with that is both teams are excellent defensively against the run, the Guelfi in particular.
Yeah, these two teams are very similar, Mason, and we've watched them really grow up and get stronger towards the end of the season. You mentioned Florence's offensive line. They've hit stride. They've run the ball very well. And here it is, strength against strength. The Parma defense, something we've talked about for years, it's come along. It's hit their stride. So it's Parma's defense against Florence's offensive running game, which should be a delight to watch.
Two other things to note. These two teams did meet in the regular season finale, a game that Parma needed to win in order to host in the wild card round. They won 17-12, which was a bit of a surprise. And the other thing is that, well, these organizations don't care for each other all that much. In fact, Parma only sent Ugo Bonvincini, their team president, to the press conference a couple of days ago, and I think that drew the ire of the Guelfi a little bit.
Yeah, and this is something that goes way back in history. Obviously, Italy's a very old country. It was a collection of city-states for many years. You have Florence, really kind of the aristocratic, one of the nicer, aristocratic city-states, and Parma is really, Mason, kind of the farm boys, the guys that grew up around the Parmesan cheese, you know, all the different types of
Parma
meats,
ham.
the Parma ham. And so they're two different cultures, and they do clash on the football field because of that.
Two different cultures, though both cities play a similar brand of football. We cannot wait to get this one started. Just moments away from kicking off Italian Bowl 43. We've got it live in English exclusively on BCSN.
Roll into 𝗦𝗽𝗀 today for expert service on the best brands for your ride. Let our skilled techs help you save big so you can drive with confidence. Start tire shopping and request your appointment at 𝗦𝗽𝗀.com.
Lots of care.
Lots of attention.
Lots of friends. Lots of laughs.
Lots of smiles.
Aviva Glendale. Lots of love.
Roll into 𝗦𝗽𝗀 today for expert service on the best brands for your ride. Let our skilled techs help you save big so you can drive with confidence. Start tire shopping and request your appointment at 𝗦𝗽𝗀.com.
Hi, my name's Jay Hansen with Salem Financial. The benefits that Buckeye Broadband Business brings to our company is it allows us to focus on what we do well. I would absolutely recommend Buckeye Broadband Business. They did everything when they said they were going to do it, how they said they were going to do it, and
SUVs are super popular right now, and Dunn has 10 different models to offer. But I have to be honest, I'm a pickup man. We have Colorados, Silverados, and Silverado HD. Our pickup lineup covers all the bases. Our Colorado diesel gets 30 miles per gallon. Our Silverados are safe and luxurious. And our HD can tow over 17,000 pounds. Find your pickup at DunnChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Choosing your own direction means choosing how you spend your time. At Directions Credit Union, we help you manage your time and your money by giving you access to technology that works for you. Our online and mobile banking makes depositing and transferring money between accounts a breeze. Prefer real FaceTime? Our knowledgeable team is available to meet with you at any of our convenient branches. It's easy to choose your own direction. Become a member today at directionscu.org. Directions Credit Union.
Well, we are back in the pregame festivities continue here at Stadio Bruno Benelli in Ravenna, stadium built in 1964 and feels kind of untouched by time since the mid-1960s. It's a glorious venue for this. The first time that Ravenna has hosted the national championship of American football. They will also host the Silver Bowl and the Nine Bowl, which is the two best nine-man football teams in the country next weekend. Time now for the national anthem. And you can tell what it means to the Italian players seeing them sing along with the national anthem. You can also tell the difference quite easily between the Italians and the Americans. The Americans standing there stone-faced during the playing of the Italian anthem, while the Italians, they really get into it. Stefano D'Amato is the referee. You'll be hearing his voice a fair amount this evening, I'm sure. And of course, in light of this partnership the last few years between the city of Toledo, and it all started with Toledo and Ferrara, the two sister cities. naturally, 𝗦𝗽će𝗶𝘶𝘀 is involved here in some way. He will be taking part in a ceremonial opening kickoff.
Yes, very excited to see how his kicking leg is here. He's making his way to midfield to the referees waiting to see the ceremonial kickoff.
In fact, Wade got to be a part of the Italian pregame show, which streamed on YouTube about an hour and a half ago. He was actually on our flights out here. We were supposed to fly through Amsterdam and then Amsterdam down to Bologna. The initial round of flights got canceled. We ended up flying from Detroit to Paris and then Paris to Bologna. It's been so cool to see so many beautiful European cities as part of this project over the last several years here on BCSN. Stefano D'Amato, by the way, is usually, when you need a competent English-speaking referee, he is often chosen to be that. He was the referee at the Kickoff Classic, which is the last game we brought to you live from Italy in early March of 2023. The captains come out. Andrea Fimiani has already been crowned Italian Player of the Year, by the way, in the league. The announcements that you and I helped vote on were done about a half an hour ago. And you guessed correctly far more frequently than I did, my friend.
Well, and you talk about Andrea Fimiani, Italian Player of the Year. I also think you have to point out, Mason,
ai Guelfi il diritto di scelta. Questa è testa, questa è croce. Questa è croce. Dite quello che si è scelta. Questo è croce ed è croce. Ed è croce, vincete il sorteggio di cui siete di ricevere. Da che parte volete calciare? Facciamo così. Perfetto. I Guelfi Firenze hanno vinto il sorteggio, hanno deciso di ricevere.
So a sign of intent from the Firenze Guelfi offense. They want the ball first. They want to receive the kickoff. They want to go down and score. To quote Matt Hasselbeck, was it 15 or so years ago? That didn't quite come to pass for them, but hopefully for Firenze Guelfi it will. Beaten by the Panthers 29-13 in last year's Italian Bowl. The Guelfi, who were so good offensively all season long, turned the ball over 4 times against them. The Parma defense really came out and took it. Alexis Ramos, last year's standout middle linebacker, import player, really ran the show for them defensively. He isn't around anymore, but Jalen Parnell has taken his place at that position, and he's maybe done Alexis one better because he has also been a dominant running back this year to the tune of better than 8 yards a carry.
Yeah, and it's really a tradition with these Parma imports. They come in, and a lot of times they come in with one role, like we saw with Ryan Benetti as well, and they play different roles. They do whatever it takes. It's almost like a team culture with Parma. They never single anyone out as their outstanding individual player. They just all come in and play a lot of different roles. And you're right, Alexis was tremendous as a linebacker, but Jalen maybe not as great a linebacker, but he's a fantastic running back and has been a difference maker for them towards the end of the season.
Well, you say maybe not as great. I guess the testament to just how high the bar set by Alexis Ramos was this year. 44 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. Led the team in tackles and tackles for loss by a fairly wide margin. And he will be on defense first because Parma will kick it away.
And if you're the Guelfi, I like that decision, Mason, and it's exactly really what, here we go.
The first kickoff, of course, will be
Mayor 𝗍𝗶𝗵𝘁.
Mayor 𝗦𝗍𝗶𝗵𝘁.
I want to see him put it in the end zone. I don't know about you. Let's go. Yes!
So many mayors would kill for a reception like that at any time.
Yes. Looked pretty good. No pulled muscle, no anything.
Very cool. You know, we saw a pulled muscle or two last year at the Mayor's Cup, didn't we? Which Mayor Wade took part in. So the Panthers in black, the Guelfi in white. Well, we've been building up the road to Ravenna all season long. In the end, it probably shouldn't be a shock that roads heading out of Parma and Florence bring us here. Pasquale Bitondi has been the kickoff specialist all season for the Panthers. Will boot this away, and the MO has to be kick it away from Cosimo Casati who had a kick return touchdown in the Italian Bowl 2 years ago, which the Guelfi won over the Milano Seamen. Not only does he kick it away from 𝗏𝗏, but it's through the end zone for a touchback.
Yeah, line drive, kick through the end zone. I think that's what you wanted for Parma. And if you're Florence, here it is. 𝗦𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗶𝗵𝘁 told me when I saw him at the game earlier this year, he went and scouted 𝗏𝗏. He said, Nick, I have been dreaming about getting back to the Italian Bowl since the next day when I woke up in Toledo after we'd been beaten by Parma. And here he is, Mason, a year later, getting the rematch he wanted in the Italian Bowl.
There's the starting lineup. And we will see Ryan DeLuca at quarterback every now and again. He's one of only 2 players in the league this year to catch, throw, and run 4 touchdowns. A truly dynamic offensive force. 𝗏𝗏 is as well in the backfield. Giacomo Nibelli and Nicolo Formosa have been really good complementary wideouts to DeLuca this year. Not that this is a Guelfi offense, as we've said, that wants to throw the ball all that often. Guillermo 𝗏𝗏 on his first carry of the game takes a big hit and is dropped for a gain of 2.
And I expect, since the Guelfi are starting on offense, I expect 𝗏𝗏, DeLuca, and Labella, their new other import wide receiver, to attack.
That front 7 is so good for the Parma Panthers. Marcello Leone often ends up in the secondary. And now it's 𝗏𝗏's turn to get hit. 3rd down coming up for the Guelfi. Luca Monterese, number 15. On the right of your screen, he plays free safety for the Panthers. 6'1", 176 pounds, all of 18 years old. As a 17-year-old, had a crucial interception in the second half of the Italian Bowl at the Glass Bowl. There are so many young players in this league that could find a home in American college football. And for me, he would be right near the top of the list. 3rd down and a very manageable 2 now for the Guelfi. 𝗏𝗏 will keep it. He will try and slash ahead for the first down, and he will get it.
I think he's got it. Yep.
He's got it by a yard or 2. We're starting to say about Luca Monterese.
I agree with you completely. Luca Monterese is a guy, and like you said, I mean, he's still really, really young. And he is, in my opinion, he's that guy that's the best Italian defensive back in the league, and he's 18 years old. He's dominant. He can play all the positions. He can play cornerback. He can play safety. And there's a spot somewhere for him on a college team in the United States.
So 1st and 10. Unsurprisingly, the Guelfi get their first down without throwing the football. Guillermo 𝗏𝗏 here is pinned in and shoved out of bounds for a loss by Ryan Minetti, and Marcello Leone was in there too.
And we've already seen a couple times here where Ryan Minetti is being very active. He's almost playing kind of an invert position, Mason, and I expect him to play that type of force position. He's the other safety, but they bring him so close to the line of scrimmage. He's already being active and trying to stop the run game.
2nd down and long, which is not exactly a comfortable spot for the Guelfi. 𝗏𝗏, a quick pass. That's 𝗏𝗏 out in the flat, and Jalen Parnell hits him first. 3rd down at about 6 coming up. Guillermo 𝗏𝗏 coming off of his best performance of the year by far in the semifinals, a win over the Ancona Dolphins. 171 yards and 3 touchdowns, all on the ground, after having kind of an indifferent regular season in which he was held to under 300 yards in total. Quick pass on the out route is caught, but that may be short of the first down.
I think he's going to be a little bit shy, Mason, but I don't think either one of us will be at all surprised knowing what the Guelfi want to do if they attack and they go for it here in this 4th and short.
He was caught by Alex Labella, who is their 3rd import. He's been out for half the year. They will indeed go for it on 4th down and very short. Bunched at the line.
Oh, wow.
There goes 𝗏𝗏, first down, and then some across midfield to the 48-yard line of the Panthers.
I love that play. I love the heads-up ability there and the thought right here where Andrea said, okay, I got a crease over here. Everybody's stacked up in the middle, and that's exactly where I'm going to go.
He averages 6 yards per carry this year, one of only 2 Italian starting quarterbacks in the league. And in fact, at the press conference before this game, a lot of people asked, how does it feel to be an Italian starting quarterback in the Italian Bowl? And Tommaso Minardi was mentioned as well, the backup for the Panthers. And one journalist told him the difference between the 2 of you is that you're starting this game, and he isn't. 𝗏𝗏 plunges ahead for a 5. That's something else that Tommaso Minardi doesn't do. Not a running quarterback, though Robbie Patterson, this year's Parma import QB, certainly is. There is a flag.
And as we know, Andrea Fimiani's father was a very, very good running back for the Legnano Frogs for many, many years.
Holding, attacco numero 69, 10 yard di penalità, e ancora primo down.
That's on Gianluca Santini, who is one of the guys that does come back from last year's Guelfi offensive line. There was a lot of turnover there. It took a while for guys like Robert Macaj and Andrea Grillo and Momo Kane to come in and play the way that this Guelfi offense wants to play, which is to go very, very quickly at tempo. And movement at the snap here. Was that Michele Minuti jumping offside?
I don't know which way.
Or maybe it was an issue with the down marker or something.
The referees may have stopped him. I don't see any flags. I think you're right, Mason.
The first and 17.
Boy, another flag. And that was clearly Lavella there that jumped.
Passo partenza, attacco numero 1, 5 yard di penalità, e ancora primo down.
Time you do not want to be numero uno.
Yeah, that's right.
Is when you're a wide receiver who's called for a false start.
Now, there was a time, Mason, where Guelfi teams could get these type of penalties and make a big play.
True.
And make it up. This Guelfi team really isn't designed for that.
They were a really heavily penalized team last year as that falls short of Alex Lavella. So second down and 22.
And 2 years ago, when they won the Italian Bowl against the Milano Seamen, the upset, that was an Art Briles team that was averaging 300 yards rushing a game, big plays. Jared Gerbino's best season here. They could put up with that type of a penalty and still make a big play and get first downs and touchdowns. This is a more grinded out team that has to avoid that to score here.
Fimiani moved to his right initially, throws back to the left. This is DeLuca, and he is stopped short at the original line of scrimmage where the drive should have begun. Michele Minuti helping to wrestle him down. Luca Monteresi as well.
Circa 12 nelle 15 yard perse con la penalità. Si riprenderà con un terzo e 15.
I mean, I can't think they'll go for this. I imagine it would be the Andrea Fimiani. If they don't get the first down, they'll punt it. But they're going to need a big play here in order to get the first.
What will new head coach Jeremy Mayles pull out of his hat? Who's been with them on and off since 2019. Third down and one. Fimiani is hit. He lost the football.
Did he get it back?
And at the bottom of the pile is Gianmarco Grossi, the big defensive lineman of the Parma Panthers, who turned over Fimiani and company 4 times last year. They've done it again, and credit Dennis Bilkery with coming from the weak side. Fimiani never saw him.
And that's a missed block by the left tackle. And he really, that's Andrea Grillo. He missed that block, and that caused that turnover. And worse than penalties, Mason, are a turnover at this point in the game if you're the Guelfi. And you're right, it's eerily, if you're a Guelfi fan, eerily reminiscent of how the Italian Bowl started for them last year in Toledo at the Glass Bowl.
That is Robbie Patterson. He's thrown 21 touchdowns against 5 interceptions this year. He's also run for 5 scores. And he has rather quietly put up a pretty darn good season. He's got some great pieces around him. Matteo Guelfi has really come alive in the playoffs. He had 2 touchdowns in the 8 regular season games, and then 3 of them in the last 2 weeks. Dario Zanti is really good. Jalen Parnell is really good. Here comes Jalen for a first down on his first touch of the game.
That's a great way for the Panthers to start out their offensive drive, get the turnover, and get immediately a first down. And that's really going to be where the rubber meets the road here is can they find a way, the Guelfi, to win that battle line of scrimmage.
And that there is an awesome matchup. Jalen Parnell against Diego Rinaldi. Fantastic Italian-born linebacker for the Guelfi. You see him, number 11, leads them in tackles and tackles for loss on the season. Patterson on the move. The pass is incomplete. It was low. Take my word for it. It was being obscured by the graphic.
Yeah, off target, a little bit low. And the receiver was open, Mason. That's a missed opportunity. Robbie Patterson needs to complete that pass.
Francesco Diafaria was the intended receiver. Tommaso Finandri is playing a lot more in the playoffs than he did in the regular season as well. The 41-year-old only had 4 catches in the regular season. He's got 5 of them for a touchdown here in the playoffs, of course. He caught a touchdown in the Italian Bowl last year. Patterson on 2nd and 10, looks to throw, pocket collapsing, moving to his right. Left to throw on the run as he tries to escape Lorenzo 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. He fires a dart down to the 15-yard line. Good for a Parma first down, the first catch of the game for 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, who has great history with the Italian Bowl. Back in 2021, he caught the game-winning touchdown in overtime, a game that the Panthers won 40-34.
And here's Robbie Patterson extending the play to the absolute last second and throwing an amazing ball across his body to 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I'd say 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Mason, has really probably impressed me the most out of these wide receivers from the Parma Panthers this year. Some big catches down the field, but then his ability after the catch has also impressed me.
He's had a fantastic year, 47 grabs for 667 yards. He has scored 8 touchdowns. This time, Jalen Parnell is eaten up. It is so tough to run at the teeth of the Guelfi defense as a helmet pops off that belongs to 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗏 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
And Didac Cepiano, their new acquired defensive tackle, really blew that play up, and then he knocked the helmet off as well. But I think you're right. That's where Florence really has to make a move and really control that line of scrimmage.
Safiano, just 20 years old, 6'4", 320 pounds. You saw Brian McKitty there on the left. He's a native Ohioan from the Cincinnati area, just 40 years old. In just his 2nd year as a head coach, trying to win his 2nd Italian Bowl. He's also the head coach of the Italian national team. Flag before the snap.
Timeout. Panthers. Primo timeout.
Well, you don't need to understand Italian to understand timeout. Panthers, primo timeout. It's turning into a lovely night here in Ravenna. Here's the biggest play of the game so far. Andrea Fimiani hit from behind by Dennis Bilkary. Fumble is recovered by Gianmarco Grossi. Guelfi trying to keep Parma out of the end zone.
Buckeye Broadband presents Weather Now.
We are expecting to see some showers and thunderstorms.
Weather at your fingertips. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Covering all of the day's weather from the Toledo metro area to Sandusky.
Hi everyone, this is your Buckeye forecast.
Your forecast when you want it. Your local Weather Now forecast is brought to you by Dunn Chevy. A great deal is a done deal.
Lots of care.
Lots of attention.
Lots of friends. Lots of laughs.
Lots of smiles.
Aviva Glendale. Lots of love.
Well, out of the timeout, Jalen Parnell plunged ahead. It'll be 3rd down and manageable for them. And this is another situation, obviously, where if they don't get it on 3rd down, they're almost certainly going for it on 4th down, though they do have
a good kicker.
A great kicker, 𝗦𝗫𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. He's 40 of 42 on extra points this year, 6 of 9 on field goals.
Yeah, but I don't disagree with you. They don't get it here. I think they may want to go and try to put the exclamation point on this drive to open up the game.
3rd down and 3. Patterson to Parnell out of the backfield. The Guelfi had that dead to rights. But through sheer force of will, Jalen Parnell may have delivered the 1st down anyway.
I think he did. That second and 3rd effort helped him cross. Are they going to say he's short?
He did not quite get it. Marco Fani thought he had him wrapped up. Parnell was able to wriggle away.
So I think we know what's coming here. We got Ryan Minetti. This is going to be the Wildcat. They're going to have Parnell and have every big guy they've got on the field.
That includes Tommaso Minardi, the 32-year-old Italian veteran QB, because he is a big guy, 6 foot, 207 pounds, and he will block. Minetti is the Wildcat quarterback. Gabriele Paganini was blocking for him, and Minetti gets the 1st down to the 5.
I think you got it, yep. And again, that took a second and third effort as well.
And a big ovation for the blockers as they head back to the sideline and the Parma bench.
And as you think about how Parma wanted to start this game, these are the, it's their offensive line that's been their strong point for years and years and years. And this is their identity. Run the football, run the football, run the football.
And now throwing at the goal line, and it's caught for a touchdown. The opening score of the game, and it's no surprise. The old warhorse, 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗹𝘆, 41 years old, but never too old to score the opening touchdown in the Italian Bowl.
What a great play call, Mason. Everybody, including me, was fooled, expecting a run play. Just a great thought and a great throw. And Parma takes advantage of a huge turnover to start the game and jumps out ahead 7-0.
And his reward for scoring is to long snap on 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗆's extra point. Interesting that it's not 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝘁, it's 𝗫𝗫𝗁.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Who's more of a long-distance line drive kicker. As I say that, he tucks that straight through. So the Parma Panthers turning defense into offense. They forced the Guelfi turnover. They pounded right down the heart of the Guelfi defense. And Robbie Patterson throws a touchdown to 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗆. Now 7-0 Panthers.
Allora i Panthers riescono a recuperare la palla nel primo drive difensivo della partita, andare poi a segno subito.
Well, it's just a perfect play call, and you said it.
Everybody, Mason, was going out of the middle there. I was expecting the run play. Just a great call. And again, we talk about it, Brian McKitty, the coach for the Parma Panthers, continues in the Italian Bowl to come up with unique ideas in each schemes, and Parma's jumped out here again to a lead in the Italian Bowl.
You have to wonder if you're the Guelfi, you're maybe already starting to think, oh gosh, here we go again. I have a feeling Andrea Simeone will not allow that to happen.
I think there's a lot of game left here, Mason. I would be very surprised. I think it'll come down to the wire. Turnovers do hurt you. The penalty started it on their last drive, and the turnover kind of closed the door on them starting strong. But Andrea has waited for this opportunity to play against them again, to have this opportunity in Italian Bowl, and here he is.
𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗆 will again kick it off. And just a reminder, hey, Pasquale, don't kick it at number 32. Kick it through the end zone if you can, because 𝗍𝗁𝗍, as we know, can bring him back. That's another one with a little bit of a draw on it, looking like a really nice Tiger Woods vintage drive. Goes through the end zone, another touchback.
That's pretty impressive. He's done that now twice in a row, and they just mirror each other and right through the back of the end zone.
It doesn't feel like the kind of night in which the ball is going to travel real effectively. If this were a baseball stadium, everything would stay in the ballpark. It is so muggy. The air is very, very heavy here. For those of you watching back in Ohio that have traveled down to South Florida, that's kind of what it feels like. Right down to the fact that last night on our hotel, we were sitting outside just enjoying the lovely weather. We saw geckos crawling up the walls, the exterior walls. Not as hot as it was earlier, but still quite thick.
Timeout, Guelfi. Primo timeout.
And I don't think that's what you want, having to call a timeout because your personnel isn't correct out of the kickoff.
No, this is an important drive for the Guelfi. And they were on the right track, Mason, until those two penalties, and it was a false start to holding right in a row. Really, really slowed that drive down. They need to come out here. They need to get back to the running game. I mean, their strength is Andrea 𝗍𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗆. Letting him kind of dictate the run and then give the ball to 𝗍𝗁𝗍𝗁 as needed, and then find either Labella or De Luca on some receiving options.
And the touchdown again. And watch the defensive back to the right of 𝗍𝗁𝗍𝗁. That's Marco Fani, who has been one of the more reliable secondary performers in the league this year. He's kind of caught in two minds.
Yeah,
he's got to cover the front of the end zone where 𝗍𝗁𝗍𝗁 is, and he's got to get to the back corner where Alanove was. He's kind of looking around like somebody blew their assignment, but it wasn't me. loses a yard, and there's a flag on the play.
Hopefully for the Guelfi, it's not a holding call.
Feels like this reliably so good Guelfi offensive line is kind of getting blown off the ball. Plays are getting blown up. That one was finished off by 𝗦𝗶𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗹𝘆.
Yeah, Belli really blew up. They wanted to try to get the edge, and Belli read that.
Holding, attacco numero 69, 10 yard di penalità, e ancora primo down.
You know, that's the second holding call on Gianluca Santini in this opening quarter.
And you know what that tells me, Mason? It feels like he's got a mismatch. Anytime you've got to grab jersey.
Well, he's quite tall, but 𝗦𝗫𝗍𝗍 on the right side is very quick. 1st and 20. 𝗻𝗫𝗍𝗍 will take a shot, but he led Giacomo 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 out of bounds. Lorenzo Alamano in coverage, the 17-year-old starting at safety for the Panthers. So over the middle of the field, they've got an 18-year-old and a 17-year-old starting. And Alamano, they're both malleable. They can play corner as well. They can play in the nickel slot if they need to.
You know, 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 would have, I think he would have come open had Andrea been able to throw him open and put the ball in the field of play.
𝗻𝗫𝗍𝗍, not much of a hole opened up, and it's going to be 3rd down and 17. Another tackle by Parnell, who might already be stating his case to be the second consecutive import middle linebacker for the Parma Panthers to win Italian Bowl MVP. Warren Mema kind of bounced off of him, but Parnell hung on for dear life. A former college teammate of Ryan 𝗻𝗫𝗍 at Western Oregon University in Division II.
Those guys have to be having just the time of their lives this season, being able to play together again in Parma and be in the Italian Bowl here.
Santini, the center, with a good snap. 𝗻𝗫𝗍𝗍 with time, incomplete. I'm not sure who's responsible for that. Either way, it's a route that 𝗻𝗫𝗍𝗍 wasn't anticipating. 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗍 is kind of looking frustratedly back to the sideline. Guelfi will have to punt.
And again, it's penalties, Mason. I mean, that penalty, and I think particularly now the way the Guelfi are designed, they're not the Art Briles offense of 2 years ago that it's big play after big play. This offense is designed to grind you and get 7, 8 yards a play, 5, 6. You know, the 2nd and 20s are too much to pass in this Guelfi offense.
Cosimo Camilli, who they call Coco, is the place kicker and punter for the Guelfi, to get rid of that in a hurry. And the Panthers
very good bounce
will have decent field position, but maybe not what they were expecting after the punt, which dribbles all the way down to the 40-yard line. Now, another reason why this Parma defense has improved lately, or Flavio Zanardi is with them now. He did not play in the first 6 games, but he started the last 2 of the regular season, the 2 wild card matchup for them, and has been a big-time difference maker, also able to return punts and kicks. Well, the Panthers have certainly rocked the Casbah so far. Very impressive start for them.
I appreciate your understanding of the 80s music. You know who sings that?
The Clash.
Oh, excellent.
That was my first ever cell phone ringtone.
I love it.
The Casbah. Robbie Patterson to the outside. That is caught. For a first down. Well-designed play with plenty of space over there on the far side to run after the catch. That's big Dario Zanti. They don't make tight ends bigger than him in the IFL. He stands 6'6" and goes 231 pounds.
Very difficult to bring down, as you saw there. I mean, the only thing they could do was push him outside and push him out of bounds.
So far, this Guelfi defense that has only given up 12 points per game all season, they have shown minimal signs of being able to slow the Panthers down. Small sample size, mind you, but still, if you're Parma, you have to be feeling pretty good right now. As I say that, Robbie Patterson has a pass tipped as soon as he gets rid of it.
Yeah, and one of the surprises, I guess it's not a huge surprise as well, as Parma's offensive line has played towards the end of the season, but we have not seen much or any pressure from Robbie Patterson to be able to scramble as needed, take the time he wants in the pocket.
So good at extending plays. He doesn't take off and run with it as often as I might have expected. But he just has a knack for finding a way to make something happen. Here he goes on a design run to the far side of the field, runs out of bounds near the first down. He might have it.
He's got it. Yep.
In the end, he's marked out of bounds at the 41, so he is 3 yards shy. We're obviously a long way from where Patterson ran out of bounds, but that seems to me like not a great spot.
I would disagree with you. That's a false start, I think.
Well, haven't been a lot of miscues by the Panthers so far.
Falsa partenza, attacco numero 54, 5 yard di penalità e ancora terzo down.
That's Enrico DeFranco on the offensive line. Boy, the energy is palpable in this place, isn't it? This is a fun atmosphere to be a part of. 3rd down and 8 for the defending champions, who did not win back-to-back games until weeks 7 and 8. And ripped off 4 consecutive wins.
Timeout, Parma, secondo timeout.
Still interesting to me, the fact that we almost never see Ryan 𝗏 on offense. It is a very rare occasion these days. It's often around the goal line when he can vulture a touchdown from Jalen Parnell.
Yeah, and you're right, Mason. Last year he was such a big part of the running game and such a big part of them winning the Italian Bowl. To not see him as active in the offense is a surprise. However, it is the Parma philosophy of it's never about one guy. It's about the team. It's about plugging guys in who can make plays. And Jalen Parnell has done that this year. And it's actually left Ryan 𝗏 to be more fresh on the defensive side, which is his primary position. Parma's look very good, Mason. Better than I have. I mean, they are right on it in this game and executing very, very well. It's a big play for the Guelfi. They need to stop here.
Must cross the 38-yard line. Currently at the Guelfi 46. Robbie Patterson moving right to the sideline. They've got the first down. Up around the 30, and that's Mateo Guelfi, who we mentioned has been an absolute star so far in the season.
It's a great play-action call and a great route. Robbie Patterson throws this ball right on time.
Mateo Guelfi, 22 years old, 6'4", 214 pounds, signed from Sarzana Red Jackets in the offseason, and what an impact he has made. Patterson looking for the end zone. Just out of the reach of Rocco Bonvincini, the son of Ugo Bonvincini, the team president.
He was very close to putting that ball perfectly in the back of the end zone, where that almost would have been a touchdown.
That's been Mateo Guelfi and Simone Alanovi territory so often this year. Rocco's only got 6 catches for the year. 2nd down and 10. With a guy like Jalen Parnell in the backfield who can afford to take a shot like that on first down, Patterson will keep it and he won't get much. That was diagnosed immediately by Lorenzo Dalla Piaggi, who was one of the best defensive players in the league last year.
Last year battled some injuries this year. I'm hearing he's back to close to 100%.
So many volunteers around this IFL and feed off the governing body of American football in Italy, putting on an event like this, and it's been really well done. We got 3 hours before kickoff, just hanging around, done a marvelous job. So the Parma Panthers so far up 7-0 into the first.
Roll into 𝗏𝗏 today for expert service on the best brands for your ride. Let our skilled techs help you save big so you can drive with confidence. Start tire shopping and request your appointment at 𝗏𝗏.com.
3 rows of seats. That is a done deal. Now at Dunn, we have a huge selection of Chevy Traverse, Chevy Tahoe, and Chevy Suburban, and they all have 3 rows of seats. So whether you're hauling lots of people or lots of cargo, Dunn has the vehicle for you. Shop on your schedule at DunnChevy.com. Chevy, Dunn, and you. Together, let's drive.
Roll into Midas today for expert service on the best brands for your ride. Let our skilled techs help you save big so you can drive with confidence. Start tire shopping and request your appointment at Midas.com.
Right around the corner, ready to serve, connecting our homes, our schools, and our local businesses. So we'll do whatever it takes every day to make sure you stay connected when it counts.
Choosing your own direction means choosing how to live your dreams. New home, new car, home improvements? Whether you're a first-time borrower or have established credit, Directions Credit Union can help you finance those dreams with flexible loan options and competitive rates. With technology that makes it easy to apply online and our knowledgeable staff ready to assist when needed, it's time to make your dreams a reality. It's easy to choose your own direction. Become a member today at directionscu.org. Directions Credit Union.
Lots of care.
Lots of attention.
Lots of friends. Lots of laughs.
Lots of smiles.
Aviva Glendale. Lots of love.
Start of the second quarter at Stadio Bruno Benelli in Ravenna, just off the Adriatic coast. You know, really, this is kind of the epicenter for sports in Italy this weekend. The Emilia-Romagna region and Ravenna in particular. First play of the second quarter is kept by Robbie Patterson. There goes Robbie for the touchdown. Robbie Patterson. Well, we talked about his ability to make plays with his legs. More often than not, he's extending a play and using his arm right here. Barely touched to the end zone on the first play of the quarter.
Mason, he's picking up right where he left off against the 𝗻𝗻𝗄 Scorpions. He started that game and finished that game perfectly, completing the passes he needed to complete, making runs when he needed to make them. And right now he's got a touchdown pass and a touchdown run. And Parma's up 14-0. And the Guelfi find themselves in a pretty big hole here.
They're perhaps not a team that is built to come from behind. They are built to step on your throat early. But they have not been able to do that so far. Bitandi 2 for 2 on extra point attempts.
I agree with you, Mason. I mean, it's been their defense that's really been, I think, the strongest part for them this year. This is the best, should have been the best Guelfi defense we've seen. But right now, in this first quarter, they really have not been aggressive enough.
Here's the carry. Spotted a seam. And in fact, I said barely touched. In reality, untouched to the end zone and celebrating with the Italian Bowl 43 mascot, who looks kind of like a hybrid between a football and an almond, back in the corner of the end zone. By the way, I mentioned this is kind of the epicenter of sports in the country this weekend. Well, it all started earlier today with a disappointing loss for the Italian national soccer team over against Switzerland. They lost 2-0. They're now out of the European Championships. We've got the Italian Bowl tonight. The Tour de France comes through tomorrow, which is remarkable. The first time the Grand Départ, which is the opening stages of the Tour de France, has come through Italy. And, by the way, down in Milano Marittima, 25 kilometers south and east of Ravenna, they're hosting the Italian Open as part of the European Tour of Golf.
A very active day in sports. We're capping it off today with the Italian Bowl, the Championship of American Football. And it's going to be really crazy tomorrow when all these cycles end up coming through here, beginning the Tour de France. It'll be pretty exciting to see.
Pasquale Bitandi, another kickoff. And this one he is not able to put through the end zone, and that means Cosimo Casati will have a chance to bring one back.
tried a little bit of a trick play, Mason, but it was a trick play that I really don't get it. I guess this is what I'm getting at.
Well, he pitched it to 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗆, who really only sees action for the Guelfi as their kicker and punter.
And I don't know if 𝗫𝗶𝗶𝗵𝗁 was waiting for somebody else to come around and grab it, somebody who didn't show up, because he doesn't have the speed of a 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝗁 or a 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝗁. But, you know, hindsight's 2020, and I think, I don't know what happened.
I think he was waiting for Nicolo 𝗦𝗫𝗺mosa to take it from him, but the Panthers figured it out before 𝗦𝗫𝗺mosa decided, I'm just going to get out of dodge. I'm going to head right on back to Florence. Oh, there's a pick six! It's the teenager, Lorenzo Alemano!
And he read that, Mason, and made a break on that football, and Parma is just dominant right now in this football game, Mason.
2 years in a row, a teenager has come up with a huge defensive play for the Parma Panthers. It was Luca 𝗦𝗫𝗺će in the second half at the Glass Bowl a year ago, and now Lorenzo Alemano, 5'8", 17 years old. Last name would indicate that he's of German ancestry. And as you look at the faces on the Guelfi sideline, they don't know what's hit them.
No, it's shock on the sideline, and honestly, I wasn't expecting this. I thought we'd have a very, very close game here.
Bitondi hits another extra point, and if the Guelfi are not careful, the wheels are going to come all the way off.
That's right. And I think they've got to get back to their identity. I feel like they're picking plays, they're making decisions out of emotion instead of being pragmatic and going back to what they're very good at, which is running the football, focusing on not having the penalties.
That was as good a read on a ball and as good a break on a ball as you're going to see from anyone. That was just perfectly played by Lorenzo Alemano, and it's 21-0 to the defending champs, and we're only 20 seconds into the second quarter.
And this goes back to history when, you know, Parma, we did not get to see them in the Italian Bowl when Florence won and beat Milan. But if you recall, when Parma gets to the Italian Bowl the year previously, they upset what many considered would have been the best Milano-Semen team in the history of that organization, which was very good and had won very many. And the Parma Panthers got to the Italian Bowl and win. And it's almost like if Parma gets to the Italian Bowl, doesn't matter what the record is, they're the favorite because they're so comfortable there and they're good at winning there, and we're seeing that here tonight. John Grisham is happy somewhere.
I'm certain he is. Almost certainly the United States of America's most well-known and notable Parma Panthers supporter. Bitondi with a short chip kickoff again. This races past everybody. That is still loose back at the 9. And everything that could possibly be going against Firenze Guelfi has gone against them so far.
I mean, every drive there's been something, whether it's penalties, turnovers, miscues on special teams. It's hard to point out some things that have gone right for him up to this point.
It's been a frankly bizarre first 12.5 minutes of football.
And if you're 𝗦𝗫𝗏𝗵𝗁, you grab these guys, put them in the huddle, and you say, guys, take a deep breath. This game is 0-0 right now. Don't look at the scoreboard. The game's 0-0. Let's one play at a time execute the way that we know how to and get everybody calmed down, because you see a lot of emotion in these miscues right now. That's a really lucky there, Mason. That wasn't a false start.
That is a very good break for them, and 𝗦𝗫𝗏𝗵𝗁 trying to turn it into a great one. Does get a first down up across the 25, but you're right.
They called it.
Two players were in motion at the same time, and yeah, there is a flag back at the 10.
And that's 𝗦𝗫𝗏𝗁, and that's another emotional play where, and I can tell you, you know, I've been in football games where you get down quite a bit early, and you're thinking, gosh, I got to get this back in one play, and that's just not how football
Motion illegale, attacco numero 32. Mezza distanza dalla goal line, e ancora primo down.
Negates a really good run by 𝗦𝗫𝗏𝗁.
It's by far their best play, I'd say, of the game, and unfortunately, like you said, the penalty just nullifies it.
He is not a guy that plays with a ton of visible emotion, I don't think, but we know from talking to him just how badly he wants this. And so far, he has fumbled once and thrown an interception that was returned for a touchdown just a couple of minutes ago. 1st and 15 for the Guelfi. 𝗦𝗫𝗏 will take off, and 𝗦𝗫𝗏 turns it up to the 14-yard line. 𝗦𝗫𝗏 involved on the stop at 39 years old. I talked to him on the field as the captain last year after the Italian Bowl trophy ceremony, and I asked him if this was a nice way for him to go out, coming to the U.S. and captaining his team to a championship, and he said, I'm thinking about it. We'll see. He's come out and had a very good year as a linchpin. The heart of the defense, and there was another big hit by Jalen Parnell, this time put on 𝗦𝗫𝗏.
And as we've seen the last couple years, this is like exactly how Brian McKinney draws up his playbook. He has a couple weeks to study a team, decide how he's going to attack that team, and right now, whatever he's put together has worked tremendously well for the Parma Panther defense.
3rd down and 5. And we're both kind of silently imploring the Guelfi not to overcomplicate things. Labella wide open. 𝗦𝗫𝗏 throws it over the middle instead. And that pass is broken up. That's Flavio Zanardi. As we said, a late comer to the team this season, only appeared in their last 2 regular season games. He has been such a big difference maker ever since.
And you're right, he had Mabelli for the 1st down, but this was also a very catchable ball. But one heck of a play by Zanardi to break that pass up. And that's a pass that Luca's really got to bring in, especially in that 3rd down.
𝗦𝗫𝗏 now will punt from his own end zone. 3 big blockers in front of him, so you would not expect a bizarrely timed fake punt. 𝗦𝗫𝗏 with a good kick. That's hit a ton, but it takes a left turn and will stop at the 43. You know, there were a lot of ways I thought this game could go. I did not anticipate a 21-point lead this early for either side.
No, and it makes you wonder, Mason, if there's a psychological aspect to this, because I know looking back the last 4 games, but Florence, even in the game that really didn't matter towards the end of the season, Florence has not been able to beat Parma the last 2-3 years. I can't remember the last game that they were able to win. You know?
Just a team that has had their number. And off on 1st down, goes for 2, maybe 3 yards. And that is 𝗦𝗫𝗏𝗏. Only 14 carries all season long, now 15. One of the other occasional running backs. Look at the look on the face of Marcello Leone, number 28. He looks like the cat that got the canary, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Even they can hardly believe this start, I have to think. Robbie Patterson is passed. That's caught by Parnell. Should have a 1st down.
Parnell has done everything today. He's leading the team in rushing. Actually, it's either at this point here, Robbie Patterson is leading the team in rushing. He's got a reception. He's leading the team in tackles.
That's the first time we've said the name of Dejan Lynch all night. Maybe the best defensive back in Europe. Hasn't had the chance to be a factor at all so far.
And generally, they throw away from him, and you see why. I mean, he was right there on the play. Jalen just makes a great catch. Hangs on to the football.
This time, Ryan Minetti is in the game. Patterson wants 𝗦𝗏𝗏 behind the secondary for the 1st down. All by himself. Marco Fani shoves him out of bounds. The Panthers knocking on the door once again.
Age is not a factor for 𝗦𝗏𝗏. I mean, a great route, great concentration. Brings that in, and you see just the wind is completely gone right now out of the Guelfi's defensive team, and they're just gassed. I mean, you can see Didat Safiani just taking it, not able to get back as quickly on defense, and they're just looking for any sort of stop they can get here.
You know, they used to call Reggie Jackson Mr. October. I'm wondering if we should start calling Tommaso Finadri Mr. June. Signore June.
Timeout. Panthers. È l'ultimo timeout.
Parma then will use a timeout here. 8:09 left in the first half. They are on the verge of going up by 4 touchdowns. That is shocking to me. I would not have anticipated this performance from the Guelfi in particular. It has been so pedestrian, and their standards are so darn high. They're coming off of a game against the Ancona Dolphins in the semifinals. That's a very good Ancona defense. Well, they racked up almost 500 yards on them and scored 44 points, and so far they've not really been able to do anything. You can see us, by the way, me gesturing sort of like an Italian inside the press box at the top of your screen. I feel close enough to being an honorary Italian at this point. Learning how to say the names and learning where the good food spots are when we come over here.
I tell you, and how quickly you picked up the names is very impressive.
It has all been an incredibly rewarding experience. And it's not over yet, obviously. The road to Toledo will begin in a couple hours' time when this game ends. First and goal for the Panthers. Patterson, kind of a sidearm throw that was spinning away from Ryan Benetti. It's incomplete. And once again, Francesco Verlinzi has had his block knocked off.
And I think it was Didat again.
He would be another guy near the top of the list of young Italian players that could absolutely make an impact in this country. I wonder if we'll see the conclusion of this play. We won't, but Safiano was really getting into Verlinzi.
And I think the thing that's most impressive with Didat is his strength and explosion. And he's a kid, from what I've understood talking to Guelfi, has such a desire to learn the game and has a lot of potential upside, learning technique and taking advantage of how explosive and how talented he is.
Throw was high for Simone Alinovi, but well covered by Marco Fanni. Of course, a stop here would potentially put a spring back in the Guelfi collective step. They need to do something to turn this thing around.
And I'm starting to think more and more it's a psychological thing, because there's no way there should be a 21-0 game. And it's sometimes you have these teams that in your mind you've got to decide, we're going to go beat that team. I don't care how many times we've lost to them. We're going to go dictate the tempo of the game and win the football game.
Interesting decision, giving it to Ryan Benetti on 3rd and goal at the 9.
And what do you do here? I think they're going to kick the field goal, aren't they, Mason?
Yeah, they will. Bitondi has come on.
But you're right, that is an interesting call. I mean,
maybe content inside the 10-yard line to kick the field goal and make sure that you go up by, well, traditionally 4 scores, but 3 touchdowns and 3 two-point conversions would tie it. That's if Bitondi hits the chip shot field goal, which he does. So this fantastic start by the Panthers continues. Now 24-0. Bitondi's field goal, 7:14 left in the half. All Parma so far.
Roll into Midas today for expert service on the best brands for your ride. Let our skilled techs help you save big so you can drive with confidence. Start tire shopping and request your appointment at Midas.com.
3 rows of seats. That is a done deal. Now at Dunn, we have a huge selection of Chevy Traverse, Chevy Tahoe, and Chevy Suburban. And they all have 3 rows of seats. So whether you're hauling lots of people or lots of cargo, Dunn has the vehicle for you. Shop on your schedule at DunnChevy.com. Chevy, Dunn, and you. Together, let's drive.
Roll into Midas today for expert service on the best brands for your ride. Let our skilled techs help you save big so you can drive with confidence. Start tire shopping and request your appointment at Midas.com.
24-0. The Parma Panthers trying to win their second consecutive Italian Bowl. We thought 29-13 was a pretty lopsided score last year compared to what we were expecting. This has the potential to blow that out of the water.
Yeah, and I still don't think if you're, in my opinion, if you're the Guelfi, don't hit the panic button. Go back to what you know how to do. Run the football, have a great drive. Even if Mason, let's say you're able to score and you go in to the halftime, you pause and you're down 24-7, you're still okay. Because if you can get your defense to play the way that they've played most of the season, the Guelfi, and being statistically the best defense in the IFL, you'll get some stops, but get yourself a little bit of momentum. Get yourself to halftime and cut into this lead, and don't abandon your identity. And I think by abandoning their identity would be just jumping right to the passing game, which is not their strength.
They have to be themselves. They cannot afford to be a poor facsimile of somebody else, and they will try a trick play here. That's Ryan DeLuca flipping it back to 𝗵𝗵𝗵. That did not work at all.
No.
And you can only do it once.
You only do it once, and they may have just got themselves another penalty with a chippy play there. Yeah, there it is. I mean, the love lost here, Mason, is just right now, Parma is living inside of the Guelfi psyche here from all the, and I think this is an accumulation of their years where they've dominated the Guelfi, and it really hadn't occurred to me until watching this game and remembering the Italian Bowl last year that this is a real thing.
This was after there was an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against the Guelfi.
Comportamento antisportivo, attacco numero 88. Mezza distanza dalla goal line, si giocherà il secondo down.
And here it is, we see it right there. There's just no need for it.
Leonardo Bascotto, the tight end, is shoving over Flavio Zanardi. As I was saying before the announcement of that penalty, there was an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the previous extra point try, which was why Pasquale Batondi's kickoff was still not yet at its apex when it went through the back of the end zone and ended up in the stands.
Again, here we are. This is a second and way too long.
Just a thoroughly dominant performance so far by the Parma Panthers, but there is still an opportunity for the Guelfi to get it turned around and climb back into this football game. 𝗵𝗵𝗵 settles for just 4. And again, that's Francesco Azzaro getting into it a bit with Michele Minuti, and an official there to break it up before it could become another unforced penalty.
I mean, I like the quick tempo, Mason, but I don't think they need to go to the trick plays.
Timeout, Guelfi. Secondo timeout.
I think the tempo there was too quick even for the Guelfi offense.
It certainly appeared that way. The hats off to Parma, Mason, and Ryan McKitty and his defensive game plan has been outstanding.
Nothing has come easily for the Guelfi. In contrast, it's kind of first-grade arithmetic so far from the Parma Panthers' point of view, and it's funny. Ugo Bonvincini, we mentioned, the team president of the Panthers, the only Panthers representative at Media Day. Brian McKitty trying to keep that shining light off himself and the rest of his team. Ugo was asked, you had an easy win over the Guelfi in the Italian Bowl last year. What do you think of this year? Well, first of all, we won, but it was not easy. Nothing is easy against these guys. They've made it pretty simple to this point.
They've made it look easy, and if we look back the last 2 weeks here now, Mason, they played against the 𝗵𝗺 Scorpions team with an ex-NFL quarterback who was in the NFL for 10 years, had an amazing career at Tulane, and they had a great wide receiver, the #1 offense passing in the NFL with the player of the year, held them to 7 points and shut them out in the first half. They're doing that in this game as well. And again, it's Brian McKitty came up with a game plan to totally shut down the Scorpions and their ex-NFL quarterback 2 weeks ago, and here they are doing the same thing against a great Guelfi offense as well.
Ryan DeLuca was at quarterback on that play. He found Nicolo Formosa for his first catch of the night, but not even close to the first down. It's 4th and 8.
Again, you look at what the effects of that penalty, the unsportsmanlike conduct, they'd still have the ball, and they might even be closer to midfield if not for that miscue.
And again, no choice but to punt. This will dribble down to the 32. One more touchdown and this thing's over. I hate to say that, but I could not fathom the Guelfi coming back from 30 plus down.
TV timeout.
And I can't disagree with you.
5:43 left in the opening half. 24-0 Parma Panthers. This has been a really extraordinary start to this game. Part of, as we said, an action-packed weekend of sports in Italy, but mostly centered around the 30 or so minutes outside of Ravenna. There's a European Tour golf tournament going on. Obviously, the Italian Bowl, then next weekend the Silver Bowl and the Nine Bowl here. Plus the Tour de France coming through Ravenna tomorrow morning. Roads that the cyclists will occupy will be closed at, I think, 8 o'clock in the morning. How much time have you spent in Ravenna prior to this week, Dave?
I'd only been through Ravenna just one other time. In 2009, I played in an Italian Bowl in 𝗦𝗨, which is actually very close to Ravenna. And so I've been in the region, been close, but not a lot of time in Ravenna.
It's a very cool, very laid-back city, I guess you would say, which makes sense, being very close to the Adriatic Sea and lots of beaches that run along it. We did find a truly absurd-seeming building driving in from the airport yesterday, a complex that had a bunch of little entertainment venues, including something called Disco Bowling, whose logo was a bowling pin wearing Fred Flintstone's shirt and tie.
I love it.
Might be a place to check out at some point while we're here. And off to Ryan Minnini from Robbie Patterson, and Ryan won't get a lot.
So I think you're right. This is a, Guelfi, if you want to stay in this game and you want to have a chance, to win the 43rd Italian Bowl here, you need to stop, and you need to stop fairly quickly to give your offense the chance to have one really productive drive, and ideally a productive drive that leads to a touchdown.
The Guelfi have already made some changes up front. That's not the first-string defensive line that you see out there. Patterson over the middle. All the time in the world to find 𝗦𝗨. Is he going to score in another Italian Bowl? Not this time he won't. Dragged down at the 15.
And 𝗨 was far... I don't know could this be a holding call?
Holding, well, given the fact that everybody is walking back in the direction of the original line, I would think it probably is.
And that is a huge momentum call.
Attacco numero 53, 10 yard di penalità, e ancora secondo down.
And it looked like, if you saw in after the play, Brian McKinney made that motion, and I think he saw it.
It was the left tackle on the right side of defensive end who hauled him down.
And the Guelfi find themselves fortunate. They're not just because of the big play, but the secondary Mason was lost on that play.
So 2nd and 17. I think that was Hobson Dobson, our favorite name in the league. Number 90, he's on the left side of the D-line at the moment. I think it was him who was just too quick for the offensive tackle. Robbie Patterson dives ahead, gets some of the yards back.
Yeah, here's the third long, Mason, and the Guelfi need to make a play here and get off the field.
They're down at 11. Across the 42. Patterson will step up. He will hoist this over the middle. That's incomplete. The receiver, as Guelfi kind of got turned around. Well, so the Guelfi do get the stop that they needed.
That's good coverage, good pressure, and it looked like Robbie Patterson was thinking about running that, but the Guelfi really made a nice play. I think that was Rinaldi that stepped up and kind of ended that thought quickly and forced him to consider the ball down the field.
It so often is. Diego Rinaldi is an outstanding Italian linebacker. Also works as a commentator on some of the IFL streams in Italy on the weeks that Guelfi have a bye. Robbie Patterson also punts for the Panthers. Fair catch is made at the 26 by Ryan DeLuca.
Right. I think that's something to build on here if you're the Guelfi. Plenty of time, Mason. I think they're going to have to get back. I still say get back to your identity. Believe in what got you here. Believe in who you are as an offense. Don't go to the trick plays. You don't need them. Get back to what you do best.
Give up the middle. That's 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗶𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗹𝘆. Decent gain on first down.
I like the call. Get right back to it. Go with your quick tempo. These are the plays. This is your scheme. Just avoid the penalties and do what you do best. There's plenty of football left to be played. And that's borderline another penalty there. Just sloppy motion.
This time 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗍 keeps it, slashes ahead for the first down, trying to bounce to the outside.
And this is who they are as a football team. Don't go away from it. Let your run game open up the pass game. And that's where Andre is most effective. He'll gash you with 3 or 4 run plays like this. 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗍 will do the same thing. Then they have the opportunity to gash you down the field.
𝗍𝗫𝗍.
Nothing wrong with that, right? That's 4 or 5 yards. This is who they are. Still just under 3 minutes.
If you have not seen an Italian football game all year, like in professional rules, there will be a 2-minute warning that will stop the clock. 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗍. Nowhere to go. That started with Dennis Bilkeri and Marcello Leone there to help out also. You know, the many guests of honor that are here this evening for the Italian Bowl, down on the Guelfi sideline. The man wearing a number 47 Guelfi shirt, his nameplate says death. But I'll tell you about him in a moment. 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗍, and that's just another miscommunication, the kind that has been all too frequent for them in this first half, the kind you cannot afford when you're down 24-0 in a championship game. Death is a hotel receptionist who used to play bass in a death metal band, who had played for the Guelfi for a very long time, but he was turning 48 in the offseason, decided to hang it up after the Italian Bowl, so that was the perfect way to go out, whether they won or they lost. He really captured the attention of our friend Dave Briggs, the sports columnist at The Blade, who wrote and tweeted about it last year. 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗍 onto DeLuca on 4th down, and that is another curious play call on 4th and 6, a screen pass behind the line of scrimmage, albeit to a great all-around athlete, Ryan DeLuca, who can make things happen, but nothing is going right, and they certainly aren't helping themselves right now.
Avviso dei 2 minuti, 1 minuto e 58, vale come avviso per I 2 minuti.
That is indeed the 2-minute warning. 1:58 left in the half, and a chance for the Panthers to score again. And oh, by the way, they will get the ball to start the second half as well. The Guelfi, if you remember, won the coin toss, chose to receive.
Yeah, and that drive, Mason, started well for the Guelfi. They were doing what they do best, and then 2 miscues right at the end there. I do think the miscommunication between Ryan DeLuca and Andrea 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗍. 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗍 was expecting a comeback route. Could have been an easy first down, and they just weren't on the same page.
Well, can Robbie Patterson put an exclamation point on what's been an otherwise nearly flawless half of football from the Guelfi? Not that he makes the catch, but he's out of bounds.
A great catch anyway.
Reminding us that age is indeed just a number. Caught Parma's opening touchdown, and then another big grab down the sideline. Panthers touchdowns coming on the short pass to Tommaso Finadri, the Robbie Patterson scoring run, and then the Lorenzo Alemanno pick six. Patterson was tripped by 𝗏𝗏, I think, behind the line. And you know, those last two touchdowns, the Patterson run and the Alamano interception return, neither of them were touched by a Guelfi play. 3rd and 9.
Now, Guelfi's defense is settled in a little bit better here, but they're good. They're going to have to score points.
Can they get it inside the 37? Keep this drive progressing. Patterson steps up. 𝗏𝗏 is lurking, throws over the middle, and it's caught. 10-5, Dario Zotti, touchdown.
What a play by Dario Zotti. Took a pretty good shot, but stayed on his feet, Mason, and turned that into a touchdown. And another great throw by Robbie Patterson.
They are going through the Guelfi defense as though they are barely even there. This is a defense that has given up just 12 points per game all season and nearly tripled that so far in the first half. Heads have been dropping for some time, and I suspect that will continue. Itondi, another extra point. He has not yet missed a kick this evening. Still hasn't. I couldn't even speak it into existence. That's how dominant the Parma Panthers have done in this first half.
Very impressive. And I just remembered, actually, Mason, you and I, the last time that Florence beat Parma was the semifinal in 2022 when Florence eventually made it out to the Italian Bowl. And if you remember that game, the defense played outstanding, and Jared Gerbino was the quarterback and had a dominant game running the football. I think they won something 20-15 or 21-17, something like that.
Great grab by Zotti, and that's 𝗏𝗏. I'm not sure what exactly he was playing at there, just sort of through his shoulder, the lower body of a 6'6", 231 tight end. That's never going to get it done. Watch the attempted tackle here.
Great presence. You look at Robbie Patterson. No, that's not going to do it against him.
And adding insult to injury, he tripped his own safety, Giovanni Scaldoni, who might have had a chance to recover and make the tackle. A mistake by 𝗏𝗏 to kick one out of bounds. He does tend to pull his kicks. We don't see him go to the right very often.
Procedure legale del kicking team. Calcio fuori campo. Si ricalcia 5 yard indietro.
Jeremy Males, the Guelfi head coach, had pointed out in the press conference when he watches this Panthers team, he says they're extremely well coached. They've got a young, very young offensive coordinator. And he's made all the right calls so far.
Yes, he has.
Let's see if he can make the right calls again on this stage. And so far, 10 out of 10 no notes from where I'm sitting.
And the other thing you notice, and I guess it's common for when you watch the Panthers play, they don't have the penalties and they don't have the turnovers. We just kind of get used to that. But that's, again, like you said, it's just a sign of a very, very well coached team.
Simone Alinovi, maybe he can add a touchdown in the second half, and that's Jeremy Males, who will look anywhere and everywhere for answers at halftime, and how many answers he will find, I don't know. There is no roadmap when you're down 30-plus points at halftime in a championship game.
And few bright spots. Let's be clear, they spent the majority, if not all of the first half on their side of the field and have not crossed midfield for very long, if at all.
𝗏𝗏 out of bounds at 42, 57 seconds left in the half. They do have all of their timeouts remaining, I believe. I beg pardon, they have one. The Panthers don't have any. So look down at the scoreboard, a temporary structure to our right, down in the corner of the end zone. Italian stadiums tend to not have big scoreboards like we have in the States. Although this is a venue that, in addition to hosting a 4th Division soccer team, also has a rugby club. Plays professionally. It's a sport that has really grown in Italy over time. DeLuca is the quarterback again. His pass is caught by Alex Labella, who played collegiately at Hobart College in New York. He's been out for about half of the year, but a really talented wideout, somebody that Andrea Fabiani thinks really highly of.
And I think that's what we're going to have to see a lot of is Labella right now. I think he's their best matchup against any of the defensive backs for Parma.
Well, they came in, to my eye anyway, looking awfully loose, this Firenze Guelfi team. A lot of guys were in what the Europeans would call fancy dress, wearing masquerade masks and costumes and all kinds of things. Oh, goodness, that was almost picked off. An afterthought of the throw from Ryan DeLuca.
And it was really a good thing he didn't try to complete that screen pass because Parma was ready for that. They were all over 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗵𝘁𝗹𝘆.
3rd down and 5. DeLuca faked the screen, looked up the middle, gave it back to Gazzatti, and see at the first down is very close.
Short. The good news, you don't get the first down, but you get out of bounds, which is probably more important than this point if you're able to pick up the first here.
It is 4th down. You don't need me to tell you what they're going to do on this play. DeLuca caught Labella's first down for the 25.
Boy, they're going to get, I think they're going to get the Guelfi for another personal foul call.
Did a Guelfi player shove over somebody who then fell down onto a Parma defender? There was a Parma player who stayed on the ground.
I couldn't tell if it was the Guelfi player who pushed his way in and then fell on top of the Parma player, or if the Guelfi player was pushed and then fell over the top. Either way, the injury is unfortunate, and if you're the Guelfi, you can't have the penalty.
I think it's 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗵𝘁𝗆, the starting corner for the Panthers, who is down. That's exactly who it is. He's fell to his feet.
Good to see him up and making his way off. Now we got to sort out where the blame comes here.
A palla morta, comportamento antisportivo, attacco numero 69, 15 yardi penalità, sarà comunque un primo down.
It just doesn't make sense to me, Mason. You pick up the first down, you're getting momentum, you have very little time. You can't waste your time with trying to get one extra hit or be a little bit chippy. And I know it's easier said than done when this rivalry is as deep as it is and you're down 31-0.
Il primo down che però si gioca dalle 39 di Parma.
Correzione, si tratta di un fallo personale, violenza non necessaria, non è un comportamento antisportivo, è un fallo personale. Comunque 15 yardi penalità.
So it was a personal foul for, I heard violence, I believe. Unnecessary roughness then?
Yes, exactly.
And if I heard that correctly, that was on Gianluca Santini again, who was at a first half that he would love to forget.
Oh,
incomplete, that almost worked out. There is a flag, though, and this might be a late hit on the quarterback.
By the way, DeLuca's walking around.
Fallo personale, Raffin De Pesser, difesa numero 90, 15 yardi penalità, primo down.
Simone Bernardoni. Well, it's late, but it's not so late as to be obvious. 7 seconds and a bit of time for the Guelfi.
Maybe 2 shots at the end zone.
And this is Ryan DeLuca playing quarterback, which means their most productive wide receiver is not able to help them in that sense. But also a very good passer. 9 touchdowns thrown this year. No interceptions, virtually. Fimiani 10-6 in contrast.
An offsides penalty.
DeLuca for Labella, incomplete.
But they'll get 5 yards and the half is not over.
And a free play. Pass cannot end on a defensive penalty.
Offside, difesa, 5 yard di penalità, ancora primo down.
So an untimed down for the Guelfi at the end of the first half. And they will try a field goal with 𝗦𝗶𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗹𝘆. So little has worked out for them offensively in this game. They will try and get 3 points.
Mancano ancora 13 secondi. 13 secondi.
3 seconds?
No, 13 seconds.
13 seconds.
So I don't think you kick the field goal. It's 13 seconds.
Yeah, they're going to run. I think the offense on the field, they don't have any timeouts, I don't believe.
They got to use their only timeout.
Timeout, Guelfi, ultimo timeout.
Correct.
Allora cercando di mettere ordine, Firenze voleva mandare in campo il primo team perché pensava che il primo tempo fosse terminato.
Where did the 13 seconds come from?
I don't know. Other than, you know, the only thing we had been looking at was the game clock on the field, which obviously was wrong. But, you know, if you're, you know, DeLuca, and I guess he's an American quarterback at this point, so he's not Fimiani, knowing that, gosh, this on the field clock is the one I need to be paying attention to, talking to the referee, not looking at the unofficial clock. And that, you know, I don't know that kills them, Mason. I mean, at least they have the timeout to avoid the penalty. You're still going to get 2 shots at the end zone here.
Right.
If you play it right.
Try and score the touchdown, and if you can't, then bring 𝗶𝗵𝗵𝗁 back on. McKinney looking on. This team has been so good in this first half. Can they keep the Guelfi out of the end zone? DeLuca to the end zone.
That could have been. That is a pass interference.
Right,
he was early.
Of Alex Labella.
I definitely think he got there just a bit early. That's a good call, Mason. So now that's 15 yards closer, and I can't think 13 seconds went off the clock, but it doesn't matter. I think regardless, unless there's another penalty.
Interferenza, difesa numero 2, 15 yard di penalità, primo down.
It was a bit early, not a great pass, but still catchable.
Lots of 0. They'll have to make an announcement, presumably, as to how much time there should be.
Vediamo se Davando ci dice anche quanto tempo manca perché il grande schermo mostra di nuovo 4-0.
Helpfully, 𝗦𝗶𝗵𝗁 is already out there lined up at wide receiver, so if they do decide to kick, they can just shunt him over.
Mancano 6 secondi.
6 seconds. In theory, you could get 2 plays in here.
Do you take the gamble if they don't get it the first time? Ryan DeLuca, incomplete, and if Flavio Zanardi had been looking, it would have been an easy interception.
So they got one more play, I would think. That's probably 4 seconds off the clock, Mason, if we're guessing here. We'll see.
Once Zanardi, it hits him in the leg.
Side. I don't love the call, but I do like the back. Say it now, but I don't think it matters. This is going to be the end of the half. And if the Guelfi are going to have any hope of getting back in this game, they need to score here.
The potential of a field goal only does so much good. 4 wide to the right. Ryan DeLuca moving that way, throws over the middle, it's incomplete.
He could have kept that and run. I mean, the defense really cleared out there. Let's watch the replay, Mason. If he were to decide to duck inside and run it, I don't think anybody beats him to the goal line.
So broken up in the end zone at the end of the half. And from the Parma Panthers' point of view, and that is the teenager Lorenzo Alemano, who had the pick 6. He looks like a 17-year-old, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Maybe I'm bad. Flawless, really. first half from these Parma Panthers.
Always Parma against Parma wins.
So impressive. This Parma team who looked dead to rights at 3-3 in the regular season. The Lignano Frogs hung 55 points on this defense. They were one of the better offenses in the league this year. The Guelfi, every bit as good, have been held completely in check to this point.
Yeah, and you know, even looking back to that game against the Frogs were in control of that game. And, you know, there was the third or the fourth down where the fake punt, you know, late in the second half, or late in the second quarter, that really turned that game around, and then Parma really pushed and closed it out. This is the best. I mean, they saved the best for last. This is the best we've seen Parma look, and unfortunately, I think it's the worst we've seen with Guelfi.
Well, it's been fun in the sun all day here in Ravenna along the Adriatic coast. The sun continues to shine on the Parma Panthers, all storm clouds. For Firenze Guelfi, Italian Bowl 43. We're halfway through it, and it's been all Parma so far, 31-0 on Firenze Guelfi. You're watching the Italian Bowl on BCSN.
Choosing your own direction means choosing how you spend your money. From everyday expenses to big purchases, Directions Credit Union has convenient payment options to fit your individual needs. From credit and debit cards with rewards to person-to-person pay, Directions makes tracking your spending a breeze. Or if it's cash you need, our network of ATMs provides you 24/7 access. It's easy to choose your own direction. Become a member today at directionscu.org. Directions Credit Union.
Lots of care.
Lots of attention.
Lots of friends. Lots of laughs.
Lots of smiles.
Aviva Glendale. Lots of love.
Roll into 𝗦𝗽liche today for expert service on the best brands for your ride. Let our skilled techs help you save big so you can drive with confidence. Start tire shopping and request your appointment at 𝗦𝗽liche.com.
Solar is growing. First Solar is leading the world's sustainable energy future. With 20 years of roots in Northwest Ohio, First Solar has grown to become the largest solar panel manufacturer in the Western Hemisphere, and still growing. Come grow with us and be a part of something different. To join our team, visit firstsolar.com/careers.
Roll into 𝗦𝗽liche today for expert service on the best brands for your ride. Let our skilled techs help you save big so you can drive with confidence. Start tire shopping and request your appointment at 𝗦𝗽liche.com.
Such a beautiful night in Ravenna, Italian Bowl 43. 𝗦𝗫liche is enjoying it, the mayor of Toledo, on the bottom left of your screen, done out icing down his leg, I assume, after kicking the ceremonial opening kickoff. All Parma Panthers so far, knocking on the door of a second consecutive Italian championship at 31-0 on Firenze Guelfi. And welcome up to the booth, Mason Lowry and Nick Ide. Great to have you here. Our shirts were navy blue at the start of the day, by the way. It's so hot and muggy, I think they've turned black now. I have a feeling that Jeremy Males is seeing red in the Firenze Guelfi locker, and that was a very astonishingly poor first half for them.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. You know, really on both sides of the football for the Guelfi. They came out, and immediately we saw penalties and turnovers, both at the worst possible times for the Guelfi. And on the other side, Parma took advantage of every opportunity they had along those lines, and have just been dominant.
Even a defensive touchdown from the Parma Panthers. Lorenzo Alemano, the 17-year-old, picking off, and Andrea Fimiani pass taking it back to the house, and I think maybe it's telling we didn't see Andrea at all on that last drive of the half. It was all Ryan DeLuca, quarterback.
It was Ryan DeLuca, and you saw them trying to do a couple different things with the passing game that weren't the screen-based things, and that may be what they have to do, Mason, is use Ryan DeLuca as the quarterback and try to get Alex Lavella involved, which they did. They really almost probably should have scored at the end of the half and been able to cut into that lead. Since they didn't, that mountain of climb in the second half of the Guelfi is very steep.
How good was Robbie Patterson in that first half? I thought it was exceptional.
This goes back to what you said, Mason. So early in the season, I had my doubts about, Robbie Patterson and his ability to win a championship. And every step of the way in every big game, he's proved me wrong. And you saw something clearly, even though he wasn't putting up maybe the big numbers like the Ryan Griffins and the Iceman Salmon. He was making the right plays, the right decisions, throwing touchdown passes, avoiding interceptions. And what a first half. He did it this week against a great Guelfi defense. He did it last week against a Nick 𝗦𝗽ＣE team 2 weeks ago. And he's continuing to surprise me.
In fairness, early on in the season, nobody was really getting it done at that high a level for the Parma Panthers. We said it. They were 3-3 not too long ago. Since then, they've ripped off 4 straight wins and are playing exceptionally well. And it's the improvements on the defense. We talked about it right at the top of the shelf. They still give up more than 3 touchdowns per game for the year, but over the last 4 games, that's been cut in half. It'll be cut further still tonight unless the Guelfi really find a way to move on them after halftime.
No, and they really had the toughest road. I mean, if you look at it, the wild card game, they played against a very good Lidiano Frogs team who had been able to score on everybody. They held them to 20 points. And the following game was against the Scorpions, another great offense, held them to 7 points, shut them out in the first half. And then here in the Italian Bowl, another shutout through a half of football.
Look at the first half numbers. The Panthers outgaining the Guelfi 209 to 112. And, of course, the Guelfi have those 2 big turnovers. It's a lot like last year in that sense. Parma forced 4 giveaways last year, 2 in the first half, including that opening drive fumble of Andrea Fimiani.
Yeah, and I think really the biggest difference is what's changed. The last time the Guelfi were able to beat the Parma Panthers were in the semifinals in 2022. Jared Tribino had an amazing game. The defense for the Guelfi looked great. And Brian McKinney becomes the coach. And you see a really big change on their ability to adapt and become a different defense in big games when they need big stops. And he's shown that these last 2 years, winning last year's Italian Bowl and well on their way to winning another one this year.
Yeah, Brian has gone from being a defensive coordinator in the 2nd division with Torino Jaguari, who are now in the 1st division, were one of the 3 teams that didn't make the playoffs this year, to being 40 years old. And he is, in all likelihood, going to win in a stylish manner his 2nd consecutive Italian Bowl. All Parma Panthers to this point, 31-0 on the Guelfi. Back to Ravenna right after this.
It's going down for it. Flow Rider live. Saturday, July 13th at the Promenade Pavilion in Toledo. Don't miss the legendary live performance of Flow Rider.
Win a 4-pack of tickets at BuckeyeContest.com.
SUVs are super popular right now, and Dunn has 10 different models to offer. But I have to be honest, I'm a pickup man. We have Colorados, Silverados, and Silverado HD. Our pickup lineup covers all the bases. Our Colorado diesel gets 30 miles per gallon. Our Silverados are safe and luxurious. And our HD can tow over 17,000 pounds. Find your pickup at DunnChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Hi, my name's Jay Hansen with Salem Financial. The benefits that Buckeye Broadband Business brings to our company is it allows us to focus on what we do well. I would absolutely recommend Buckeye Broadband Business. They did everything when they said they were going to do it, how they said they were going to do it, and on budget.
Buckeye Broadband presents Weather Now.
We are expecting to see some showers and thunderstorms.
Weather at your fingertips. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Covering all of the day's weather from the Toledo metro area to Sandusky.
Hi everyone, this is your Buckeye forecast.
Your forecast when you want it. Your local Weather Now forecast is brought to you by Dunn Chevy. A great deal is a done deal.
Choosing your own direction means choosing how you spend your money. From everyday expenses to big purchases, Directions Credit Union has convenient payment options to fit your individual needs. From credit and debit cards with rewards to person-to-person pay, Directions makes tracking your spending a breeze. Or if it's cash you need, our network of ATMs provides you 24/7 access. It's easy to choose your own direction. Become a member today at directionscu.org. Directions Credit Union.
Back in Ravenna, Stadio Bruno Benelli handing out some season awards here at halftime of the Italian Bowl, dominated by the Parma Panthers so far, 31-0 over Firenze. Guelfi, we are back in the booth. It's much warmer in here than it is outside, I can assure you, Mason and Nick. Happy to have you along. I think the way that the Panthers have played so far, that's keeping us kind of cool.
Yeah.
Something has to.
We've seen it, and it's the hallmark for the Parma Panthers. We talked about it, the difference in cultures between Florence and Parma. And Parma has this identity as a football team. No one guy is important. Everybody's got to do their jobs. One guy steps out. We talked about it last year, Ryan Minetti, leading the team in rushing, and this year wasn't asked to do that. Jalen Parnell, his former college teammate, comes in, leads the team in rushing, and then Ryan Minetti needs to make big plays on defense, which, from that standpoint, that is fun to watch. That type of team football is enjoyable, and it's been the way Parma's been for years.
It was certainly enjoyable to watch in the first half. Let's dive into first half highlights. And it all started really with Firenze Guelfi. We talked about it. Penalties, fumbles, turnovers were what killed them last year here. Their first drive ends in a turnover. Gianmarco Grossi recovering the fumble. And it wasn't too long after that the Panthers had their first touchdown of the game, and it's the venerable 41-year-old Tommaso Finandri, another touchdown in an Italian Bowl. Perfectly designed play.
Yeah, and again, it's Tommaso Finandri doing what he does, even though he's 41 years old, still making big plays when he needs to do it.
Yeah, just one touchdown in the regular season, two of them now in the playoffs for him. And then Robbie Patterson, he had already thrown a touchdown in this game, decided, I think I'm going to run for one. 31 yards untouched around the right side. That was a terrific run and a great bit of decision-making by him to take off and turn when he did.
Yeah, and what a great read, too. And like you said, he was untouched. The reason he's untouched, he makes the cut at the right time, accelerates and runs away from the defense, scoring that touchdown.
Well, and it went from bad to worse for the Guelfi after that, because Lorenzo Alemano, a perfect read on the Andrea Fimiani pass, takes it back 20 yards all of a sudden. It's 21-0 in favor of the Panthers. That's 14 points in 13 seconds, and at that point you kind of got a sense that the Guelfi, the body language had really changed, and there maybe wasn't a path back for them after that.
Yeah, you're right, Mason. And if you're Andrea Fimiani, you've waited 360 days, give or take, for this opportunity to get rid of that feeling you had in the Glass Bowl. Has to be frustrated at this point. Not the game he's expected to play, not the game he expected to be in at this point. And the turnovers, the penalties just been too much.
And then more Robbie Patterson after that, the touchdown, and the catch and run by Dario Zanti, 46 yards, the big tight end. And I think it was when we saw the really half-hearted tackle attempt on Dario Zanti, we thought, Guelfi, if they haven't checked out by now, they have darn near done that. There was also the field goal from Pasquale Batandi from 26 yards. So the Parma Panthers dominant in this Italian Bowl so far, up by 31.
Coming up Saturday live from the Buffalo Wild Wings studio, it is the Italian Bowl. Parma and Firenze, the rematch from a year ago. Will the Panthers repeat as champs, or Firenze get their second league title? And after dropping a pair on Saturday, the Hens back in action against Louisville as Boots and Baseball weekend continues. All that and more tonight at 10:30 on BCSN.
Lots of care.
Lots of attention.
Lots of friends. Lots of laughs.
Lots of smiles.
Aviva Glendale. Lots of love.
We're here for you, right around the corner, ready to serve, connecting our homes, our schools, and our local businesses. So we'll do whatever it takes every day to make sure you stay connected when it counts. Buckeye Broadband.
Roll into 𝗦𝗽Ce today for expert service on the best brands for your ride. Let our skilled techs help you save big so you can drive with confidence. Start tire shopping and request your appointment at 𝗦𝗽CE.com.
The BCSN Summer Bowling Classic is back. See how we roll Thursdays from interstate lanes at 9 p.m. on the NLL Network as we strike up all the excitement the BCSN Summer Bowling Classic has to offer. Who will walk away each week as King of the Hill? Tune in to find out. The BCSN Summer Bowling Classic is brought to you by Shopmakers Pro Shop, located inside all Strikes lanes.
Roll into 𝗦𝗽Ce today for expert service on the best brands for your ride. Let our skilled techs help you save big so you can drive with confidence. Start tire shopping and request your appointment at 𝗦𝗽CE.com.
Well, 𝗦�57 have made their way back out onto the field. I am darn near certain that Jeremy Mayles peeled whatever paint was remaining on the walls inside the locker room here at Stadio Bruno Benelli, trying to ignite his team. Down by 31 points. The defense will have to get their work done early at the start of the second half because the Panthers will get the third quarter kickoff. Robbie Patterson so far has thrown for 134 yards and 2 run for 46 yards and a score. That, of course, that 31-yard touchdown that made fairly bleak. Andrea Fimiani only averaging 4.5 yards per carry. He's also thrown an interception. He's completed 5 passes, but only for a total of 16 yards and nothing really aside from Cosimo Camilli averaging 45 yards per punt. And that's not a statistic that you really want to be highlighting at all. Really the only thing that has gone in their favor to this point. They need to find a way to turn it around, and it needs to happen yesterday, really. We'll see what happens in the second half if the Guelfi can indeed turn this around and make it a game. It's 31-0 Panthers.
Three rows of seats. That is a done deal. Now at Dunn, we have a huge selection of Chevy Traverse, Chevy Tahoe, and Chevy Suburban. And they all have 3 rows of seats. So whether you're hauling lots of people or lots of cargo, Dunn has the vehicle for you. Shop on your schedule at DunnChevy.com. Chevy, Dunn, and you. Together, let's drive.
What good do you think our network has done for Perrysburg and basketball in Northwest Ohio as a whole over the last 20 years?
You know, I think you've made it the place to be. It's been great for people throughout the country to watch our game. I think it's been a great thing, and I know our fans and our community really appreciates it.
This 20th anniversary moment is brought to you by First Solar. Come grow with us and be part of something different.
Follow your dreams to Groganstown Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Make them a reality. Let them take the wheel and enjoy the idea of a new vehicle. Make this the summer of Jeep and experience the new car excitement in a new 2024 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4. Lease for $229 per month or $149 per month with lease loyalty. Don't just dream it. Own it today at Groganstown Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Nobody treats you better.
What you've built is so impressive in every possible way. In BCSN's 20 years, what good have we done for the visibility of the City League and of your program?
Following us, giving us coverage.
So you guys been around seeing what I've been through for my ups and downs, and it's been special because you guys seen me grow as a coach as well. So I appreciate you guys' support.
This 20th anniversary moment is brought to you by Heat and Frost Insulators, Local 45.
Well, Jeremy Bales, as we said, he said all that he has needed to say at halftime to his Guelfi team. They've been out on the field for several minutes now. No sign of the Parma Panthers just yet. I hope they haven't lit their victory cigars already, because there is still a half of football to be played, even with a 31-point lead. We've talked about this throughout this back half of the season, trying to forecast what the 2025 Italian Football League is going to look like. We know that it will end in the city of Toledo with the Glass Bowl again, yet another Italian Bowl being played in Northwest Ohio. But you had made the comment to me a few weeks back, and we kind of discussed this a little bit. There is no hard number of how many teams need to play in the Italian Football League in any given year, so it's possible we could have 10 or 11 next year instead of the 9 that we currently have.
I'm hearing exactly that, Mason, that we're going to be probably seeing 11, maybe 12 teams in the IFL next year, and one of the teams which would be very exciting would be the 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗶, the Eagles from Ferrara. One of the more historic teams, born in 1979, have been really dominant. In fact, I believe they're playing in the Silver Bowl next weekend here, which is the second division championship game. They played there last year, really should have won last year. And being Toledo's sister city, I think it would be right and just to have them in the league next year, making a run at Toledo, which would be a lot of fun for all of us.
One thing we think we know is that the Bologna Warriors are dropping out and going down to the second division, which, having seen them this year, very, very necessary. They only scored 14 points all season. They really need to rebuild, and who knows, maybe the merger with Modena or something can come back. And it seems unlikely, given the clashes of personalities that were a near constant with them last year in that one-year experiment, but who knows? Possible, I think, that Bolzano will also come back. Is that right?
The other team that was rushing, I don't think it was, actually it was the Savona Pirates.
Okay.
A team that's been very good in the second division.
I was going to say, reliably quite good in the second tier in recent years. And of course, we talk about this on broadcast periodically. For those that are unfamiliar with the second division in FIDAF, the governing body of Italian football in Italy, you cannot have import players. So it's a great breeding ground for young Italian talent. In fact, both of the teams that we've seen tonight are dotted with guys that were really productive in the second division, have made the step up to the first division. But one area where they can invest is in American coaching, and that has really raised up the standard of IFL2.
Yes, it has, and we've seen that across the league. We saw it with the Torino Jaguari making their move up to the IFL this past season and starting very well and really running out of steam and needing to find some ways to get better, and hopefully they do that next season and continue to improve.
Second half kickoff should be just moments away, so don't go far. You're watching Italian Bowl 43 live from Ravenna on BCSN.
Choosing your own direction means choosing how to live your dreams. New home, new car, home improvements? Whether you're a first-time borrower or have established credit, Directions Credit Union can help you finance those dreams with flexible loan options and competitive rates. With technology that makes it easy to apply online and our knowledgeable staff ready to assist when needed, it's time to make your dreams a reality. It's easy to choose your own direction. Become a member today at directionscu.org. Directions Credit Union.
Lots of care.
Lots of attention.
Lots of friends. Lots of laughs.
Lots of smiles.
Aviva Glendale. Lots of love.
Off we go for the second half. This would be an historic comeback if Guelfi could find a way to overturn a 31-point halftime deficit that feels fairly hopeless at this point in time. 𝗻𝗁 will bang the kickoff through the end zone for a touchback, and out will come Robbie Pattinson and this Parma Panthers offense. Really, the thing that seemed to kind of put him behind the eight ball early on in the season, and we did Parma's season opener, a game in which they hung on to beat the Milano Rhinos 33-26. Ryan Minetti was ejected for targeting early in the second half, and he was not able to play the next week against the Ancona Dolphins, a game that they lost. And it kind of felt like they were stuck in neutral control defensively in particular for quite some time after that, but they have come an awfully long way to continue to say it in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, they really have. And the defense, like you mentioned, I mean, they were giving up really high numbers of points and having trouble finding the identity. But they do that. I mean, we've seen it in years past. They bring in a group of imports. They kind of shuffle them around until they figure out the right group of import American players. And they found that towards the end of the season with Jalen Parnell and his college teammate, Ryan Benetti, as that right mix, and they're playing really well together. They're playing well on both sides of the football. And I think part of that mix was another thing you noticed and you called out right away. You put Jalen Parnell at running back and you found something good.
Jalen Parnell coming in tonight, 72 carries, 589 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That's 8.2 yards per touch.
Impressive, and he's done it against good teams. He did it against the Scorpions, which is something we didn't expect was possible at all. The Nick Holt coach team.
Second down at 4. Patterson. Quick pass is caught. That should be a first down based on the spot. That's 𝗬𝗪𝗪. And a first half touchdown. And you know, we see plenty of guys that have really impressive yards per carry numbers, yards per catch numbers, and oftentimes kind of skewed by having, you know, a couple 70-yard touchdowns and what have you. In Jalen Parnell's case, I think his longest carry on the year is around 30 yards. He's just getting 9 yards a touch the old-fashioned way. 9, 10, 8, etc.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That just makes it more impressive what he's been able to do, because you're right. You know, some of these, you know, more explosive backs that can break long runs.
Well, maybe he can break one here. He lowers the boom to get an extra 8 yards after initial contact, and he's got a first down. It's runs like that alone to average 8 yards a carry.
I was just going to say, that's exactly the run you mentioned, where you're not going to get him on the first tackle. He's a little bit hobbled there, it looks like, on the sideline, but it took not the first guy, not the second guy. It took 2 or 3 guys after that to corral him and bring him down.
Something to keep an eye on, although if there ever was a time for him to be feeling something a little bit, it's when you're up by 31 in the second half of the last game of the season. So Ryan Benetti then is back in at running back, which, again, we haven't seen much the back end of the year. Patterson with time up the sideline, and that's the evening in a nutshell for the Guelfi.
It really is.
Manuel Massey drops an easy interception, and there is a flag over along the sideline. This might go in the span of a few seconds from an obvious interception to an obvious drop.
Difesa numero 7, 5 yard di penalità, e ancora primo down.
Against the Guelfi, I was a little worried that it might have been another personal foul if they had hit Robbie Patterson late. Giacomo Ince didn't in the end. But Massey, oh gosh. And always worse when it happens right in front of the opposing team on their sideline. So it's 1st and 5. Benetti to his left. Bit of room to run in front of him. Still going. Ryan Benetti. We saw a great slashing run, not unlike this, in the Italian Bowl last year.
And that's, again, the hallmark of Parma. You lose Jalen, looks like he's a little bit banged up. And Benetti comes in. They don't miss a beat. And here's Jalen Parnell coming right back into the football game.
Worth noting, just as a little bit of housekeeping, you may have seen some games with a second half running clock this year on BCSN in our coverage of the IFL. They will not do the second half running clock at the Italian Bowl, we are told. So we will play the full 24 minutes of the second half. Low snap, but no problem for Robbie Patterson. Throwing down near the end zone and incomplete.
And you notice the Panthers are still throwing the football, still trying to score. And again, that goes because this rivalry is pretty deep. And Parma would like nothing more than to be able to have another year to basically say, look, we ran away from you guys in the Italian League.
Second and 10. Alinovi went in motion there.
And another pass.
Patterson will step up, take off to his right, directing traffic to the sideline, and that's through 𝗬𝗪𝗪's hands. Might have been out of bounds anyway. 3rd down coming up. Not surprised at the number of pass plays on this drive by the Panthers, because without the running clock, if you keep it on the ground, that's as good as a running clock. Both teams do have all their timeouts, by the way. I think one graphic was not reset at the start of the second half. Patterson, little pop pass. That's a really good catch on the move by Zatti.
Great catch.
I don't think he got the first down. I think he's just short.
I agree with you. He looks to be short.
And again, a little bit of emotion after the fact. Saw more than enough of that in the first half. It will be fourth down and a yard. If the Panthers can keep this drive going and then score a touchdown, we may not see them throw another pass the rest of the night unless Tommaso Minardi is going to get some courtesy snaps. Backup quarterback. And the Panthers call timeout.
Timeout, Panthers. Primo timeout.
So Brian McKinney, a real Renaissance man, runs an international logistics firm based in Switzerland, lives in 𝗻𝗻𝗄, which is very near the Swiss border, drives down to Parma to coach the Panthers and coaches the Italian national team. And he's an Ohioan from down in the Cincinnati area.
And one of the most successful coaches in all of Europe over the last 2 years, and really did a wonderful job with the Jaguari in getting that team ready for its transition into the IFL.
He's done a superb job with this Panthers program. They won a bunch of Italian Bowls in the first half of the previous decade and then went on some lean years by their lofty standards. But, man, he has worked wonders with them in a short amount of time, because the year before he got there, they were really disappointing. I think they were 4-4 in the regular season and struggled.
And he looked at it as a great opportunity. He wanted to be a part, have that opportunity to coach them.
Jalen Parnell, first down, touchdown, Jalen Parnell. Ryan Minetti wasn't going to vulture that one from him.
No, and again, another example of how he runs the football, and something you noticed early on. He's only gotten stronger as the season is going on, and now this football game is going on. And it, Mason, if the game wasn't out of reach before, it certainly appears so now.
This has been a major surprise. Not that the Parma Panthers are winning this game. You and I talked in the run-up to it. We both felt as though this was kind of a toss-up on paper, and that we expected it to be, a closer game than last year's Italian Bowl, which the Panthers won by 16. Instead, it has been anything but. Jalen Parnell runs for the touchdown. He has more than deserved that. Only his fifth score of the season. He has done so much for this team offensively between like the 20 and the 20. And then you get inside the red zone, and it's time for Robbie Patterson to run one in, or time for Ryan Minetti to run one in. Jalen Parnell to block for somebody else, or go out and rest up the play on defense. Something he's going to remember. Watch this run. He is seemingly bottled up. Alex Ferrari, the middle linebacker, dives at his legs, and, well, you don't want to dive at his upper body because he is so big and barrel-chested and broad-shouldered. You got to get him at the legs, but you have to try a lot harder than that.
And I think at this point, if you're the Guelfi, you're going to have to go another 360 some days, knowing that Parma got the best of you. Right now, the only thing you can do is control this next drive, control this next play, and try to put some positivity, in front of you as you have to head into what will ultimately be a frustrating offseason for the Guelfi.
Jalen Parnell getting retaped. Kickoff taken by Cosimo Casati. Guelfi at the 3-yard line. We'll actually see him bring this one back. He turns the corner. He's got room to run. 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗹𝘆 returned to kick off for a touchdown to the Italian Bowl 2 years ago. This year he's dropped at the 2.
And he is so good, Mason. I mean, the way he set that return up, the way he set up the blocks, and then used his speed to get to the outside and really got him at about the 1-yard line. I have to say, after all that effort, 𝗫𝗎𝘶 given the touchdown, but close enough, hopefully, for the Guelfi to get on the board finally.
Now you're just waiting for him to break out, and he finally did last week to the tune of 171 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Ancona Dolphins in the semifinals. Full house backfield with Andrea Fimiani and a quarterback.
He got in there. Second effort, maybe? No.
No, he did not. Stefano Bartoccioni was trying to shove him over the line. He couldn't quite get him there. Given how good Parma's defense is, isn't it fitting that if the Guelfi are to get a touchdown, it would come a 1-yard drive?
Yes.
Same thing again, I would think. Bartoccioni literally hugging Fimiani around the hips.
But
there's a flag.
And the way the night has gone for the Guelfi, I am hoping that flag is not against them. It's just going to be too ironic, really, basically, to say, okay, here, you've got 1 yard to go. You just had an amazing electric kickoff return.
Too ironic and almost too painful for words.
Yes.
Offside, difesa, mezza distanza dalla goal line, si rigioca al secondo down.
If there ever was a time to commit that infraction, it's now when the ball is already inside the 1, half the distance to the goal. Well,
you're right. I'm not in love with the first 2 play calls. I'd like to see him avoid it here. It's not working.
Panthers lineman, I don't know if he's hurt or if he has an equipment issue. That's Simone Bernardoni. He's had a very good game. He is replaced, possibly for just this one play, by Franco Pedrotti. Are we heading that direction again? More movement? What do we have? Ball is lined up almost on the goal line. It's not actually on the goal line.
Che cercano adesso di catechizzare i giocatori, di fare molta attenzione a non andare oltre la palla, ma quando è questione di centimetri ovviamente che tutti super reattivi del football arriva.
Fimiani's in, standing up this time, he is in. And 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗹𝘆 finally on the scoreboard, took him to almost the midway point of the 3rd quarter. But it is hardly a time of celebration for the Guelfi.
No, okay, if we're looking for the Hail Mary situation or the fairy tale, let's do the math here quick. So, 8 times 4 is 8 times. So you get 5 touchdowns, 2-point conversions, you've done it. Which is a lot to ask.
Oh, is that all? Ryan DeLuca, that's that Ancona Dolphins play from earlier in the season, and it's incomplete.
And he had him.
Pascotto was the target, and 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗹𝘆, who was the man that chased down 𝗫𝗎𝗫𝗁𝗍𝗍 on the 1-yard line, prevents the Guelfi from getting the 2-point conversion. So 38-6, our score. It has been a truly exhausting night, physically and more to the point, emotionally, for the Guelfi, who, as we keep reminding you folks at home, were beaten by the Panthers 29-13 in the Italian Bowl last year. That was such a motivator for the Guelfi to come out this year and leave no stone unturned in winning this one. We see Fimiani's 1-yard touchdown run. But it's going to frustrate and disappoint and anger for another year. I guess the trick was don't have Stefano Bartoccioni literally hip-hugging Andrea Fimiani and trying to shove him into the end zone, let him do it by himself.
Right.
Now, 𝗦𝗫𝗀 has a lot of different onside kicks that he can employ here, and wisely, the Panthers have 10 men up near the point of the kick, and that'll go out of bounds. It'll be Parma's ball. A really well-executed kick all the same. I would be surprised if we see much of Parma throwing the football. It's a pretty well-executed kick. 𝗦𝗫𝗀 nearly caught it.
Così non è stato, la palla è uscita dal campo all'altezza delle 48 yard dei Panthers che entrano in campo con il proprio attacco.
First and 10. Jalen Parnell has been all taped up. Robbie Patterson unable to spin away from that first wave at the line of scrimmage.
Molto spazio centralmente, guadagno limitato a 1 yard per lui. L'intervento è il placcaggio dove si segna il numero 7 Safiano.
I wonder how much it aids the Panthers and Robbie Patterson in particular that he has played in a European final before. He played the German Bowl for Potsdam a couple of years ago. In fact, his opponent in that game was Riley Hennessy, who before BCSN covered the IFL for several years, was the Parma Panthers quarterback.
Al nuovo in movimento da destra a sinistra,
Oh, that's knocked down by Giacomo Insum, who was signed from the Milano Seamen in the offseason in the ELF. Yells to the heavens. Third down and 9.
Con il numero 99 che va a fare una sorta di muro pallavolistico sul...
Watch him leave his feet right there.
Almost made the interception, Mason.
And went easily around Enrico DeFranco on the right side of the line. Patterson stepping up, running away from Insum, and he'll get the first down. He stretches just beyond the sticks, and that should give him the first.
And another, I mean, it's another smart play by Robbie Patterson. And I think what you're probably going to see, Mason, you're absolutely right. It's going to be Jalen Parnell, Robbie Patterson, Ryan Minetti.
𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗵 may get a carry here or there.
Yep, getting him, the young guy, some carries. I can't remember a more dominant performance in the Italian Bowl than what we're seeing here from the Parma Panthers.
You would probably have to go back to those 4 consecutive years. We talked about it a lot when the Ancona Dolphins lost the Italian Bowl to the same team. Only one of those games was within 3 touchdowns. The rest were all blowouts.
That, I think you're referring back to the Bergamo Lions days where
yes, I am.
Bergamo, and I can tell you, yes, I mean that probably, you're right, was more dominant than what we're seeing here, but this is every bit close to that.
Second and 7 after Patterson ran it himself. That gave Jalen Parnell a chance to go play as a blocking wide receiver. And this time the hole that was there is closed up in a hurry. And he is swallowed up by Hobson Dobson and Didat Safiano. Back in 2019, the Seamen beat the Guelfi 62-28. But there haven't been a great deal of lopsided Italian Bowls the last decade. Before that, the last 30-point win was in 2014 when the Seamen beat the Panthers 33-3. Ryan Minetti, his feet rarely fail to impress us. His footwork is just so darn good.
That's a creative play from the Panthers. They've got 𝗦𝗫𝗍 almost in kind of a counter play there. Here they're going to play it smart, continue to let the clock run. I think they know they're in a good spot here.
Coach Michiti decide di mandare in campo il punting team.
And they know their defenses look great all throughout here.
Well, with only under 16 minutes of game time remaining, you have to think a 32-point lead is probably safe, or at least safe enough that you can punt when you might otherwise go for it. Oh, that was almost
great play there.
Almost perfect. Michelangelo Leone, Marcello's brother, not quite able to keep that from going into the end zone for a touchback. Guelfi going to have to score on, well, maybe this next play. Really, every play is a must-play play for them. Cosimo Casati, there you see Giovanni Caccialupi. We talk about when you time your burst in track and field in a sprint, and he timed his perfectly. Casati started to run out of steam. He was able to track him down. Andrea Fimiani's run.
Prima di terminare la propria corsa sulle 31 yard, 11 guadagnate dal quarterback in maglia bianca e non un primo down per i Guelfi.
Hasn't been a great night for Andrea Fimiani, the kind of thing that will, I'm sure, just inspire him for next year. That's a good ball, just out of the reach of Giacomo Nivelli.
Dei cornerback dei Panthers, ma non è riuscito a far suo ovale incompleto.
Well, we have been handed our voting slips for Italian Bowl MVP and also Best Defensive Lineman. And that's a real interesting one. I know who my MVP vote is. As far as I'm concerned, there really can only be one. Fimiani darts ahead for a couple of yards. That's Robbie Patterson.
And I think you saw who I just wrote down.
There you go.
You and I are in agreement, and I probably should have been in agreement with you earlier on in the season for seeing how well he's played.
After this play, why don't we reactivate the camera that's up here in the booth, and we can show the folks at home your impeccable handwriting, but also your votes for MVP and defensive lineman. 3rd down and 8 for Andrea Fimiani. He will throw to the near side. Alex Labella out of his hands. Incomplete.
This has just been that type of night for the Guelfi, and it continues.
It's just been frustration after frustration, some big and some little, but the little things just keep adding up.
Devono giocarsi un quarto down e data la situazione di punteggio ovviamente non c'è scelta dalla sideline.
Offense will stay on the field, I think, for the Guelfi, or could possibly be a Fimiani quick kick, which we see often. Tech off to his right. He will throw on the move. That's caught for a first down and maybe a whole lot more. That's Ryan DeLuca, the stiff arm, trying to cut back against the grain, but then he wrestles him down at the 9. So you're saying there's a chance?
That's what I'm trying to. In my heart of hearts, I want to believe there might be a chance here. It's going to take some special plays like that one right there, Mason. But let's say here, you get a touchdown, 2-point conversion. That's 14. You're going to need at least one onside kick. It's a touchdown here.
Stumbling ahead, and he's in. Andrea Fimiani with another touchdown.
If you get to 14 and you get the onside kick, then you get another touchdown. It's 38-22. That's possible. You need some big plays, though, to get there.
It might make the Parma Panthers a little less conservative offensively. You might see the odd pass play mixed in here and there. Backfield's empty for Fimiani. ภิmäjänä, the little pass over the middle is incomplete. Wanted 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, the tight end. So that's two unsuccessful two-point conversion plays, both intended for the tight end. Those might be his only two targets of this game.
So let's see here. You're down 26 points. I think you needed the two-point conversion because you're going to then you have.
Certainly. Absolutely, they did. So ภิmäjänä with 2 touchdown runs. Very good read option. He runs that play so effectively because he's such an intelligent guy. Works up in Milan in the finance industry, and if you're familiar with Italian geography, that's a 3 to 3.5 hour drive for practice and games. But is so loyal to the Guelfi cause, the first team to give him a chance to be the guy at quarterback, and was really hoping to repay them for that opportunity with an Italian Bowl, but it appears as though he will have to wait another year. That is Davide Volpi, by the way, the very young-looking reserve tight end for the Panthers. At age 17, caught a touchdown last year at the Glass Bowl in the Italian Bowl. So they had 17 and 40-year-olds catching touchdowns, which is a heck of a thing. Tommaso Finagli, I can't imagine another 40-something will catch a touchdown at the Italian Bowl. Certainly won't be playing in the Mid-American Conference, but, well, and there's just compounding it. That's another unsportsmanlike conduct penalty and should be on the Guelfi. Because St. Francis High School plays in the Glass Bowl, guys 117 have scored there, but nobody over than 40. Well, they'll talk about it and confirm. Yeah, that was Jim Nimskov, number 10, who came by with an arm extended. Not sure how much of an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty it is.
Palla morta, fallo personale, colpo in ritardo. Numero 10, 15 yard di penalità, primo down.
So 15 extra yards for the Panthers.
E allora i Panthers potranno ripartire direttamente dalle proprie 45 yard.
Still Patterson and still Parnell. Bobby Patterson, play action, backpedaling, throwing downfield, incomplete, looking for Luca 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, who's barely played in the playoffs. In the regular season, he was actually their second leading receiver in terms of number of receptions. But I guess with Finagli getting more targets, he's kind of fallen by the wayside. Patterson moving right on second down, wanted to throw back to his left, nothing there, matters to skitter his way out of it, wants Guelfi up the sideline and then through the arms of Dijon Lynch, flag at the 38 of the Guelfi. By the way, I do kind of enjoy that there's a lot more public address announcement here than there would be for a football game back in the U.S.
Yeah, it's certainly more conversational, isn't it, as they talk through the game and provide constant updates.
It's kind of like they're doing this job.
I'm wondering if this is a holding. Again, I'm surprised to see Parma throwing the football so much.
Well, I wonder, they said after the ภิmäjänä
Interferenza, attacco numero 88, 15 yard di penalità e ancora secondo down.
I wondered if they might be a bit less conservative than they were on the first drive of the half, knowing that they went from being a 38 to being a 26, which is still a substantial lead, but maybe not quite enough. And Luca Santini being looked at, the center. Tough first half for him, committed 3 penalties, one of which was a personal foul.
35, così ho detto, ma giustamente le 15 yard portano i Panthers a giocarsela dalle 30.
Second and 25, the Guelfi elected to take the penalty. Patterson, incomplete.
Fallo personale, 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝗵𝗁, difesa numero 29, 15 yard di penalità, primo down.
Ay, ay, ay. And there was a hold that was missed.
Just not the Guelfi team that we saw throughout the season.
No, it's the penalty-prone team of last year, unfortunately. Something to open up. Nothing does, so he just lowers his head into the Guelfi defender. He just runs so hard. He really is a lot like Ryan Minetti last year. Was brought in as a defensive player, turned out to be a heck of a running back, and Parnell same. Had almost 50 tackles for loss and 30 sacks in college at Western Oregon. And he's been good defensively this year, but man, has he been good out of the backfield. And another flag. Maybe the heat's getting to everyone.
Procedura illegale dell'attacco, snap illegale, 5 yard di penalità e ancora secondo down.
Snap illegale, questa è la chiamata. Come sentito costa 5 yard a Parma. E giocherà dunque adesso un secondo.
Second and 12 then after the penalty. Inside a minute remaining in this quarter. It's been a less dominant Parma second half, but a 31-point lead at halftime. I can't imagine that Guelfi will catch up with him. He lost his helmet. Got 3 yards on the play. So he has to go off, but he does, having lost his helmet. 3rd and 9. That's across the Guelfi 45-yard line to keep it growing, or keep it going, rather. Hoping to keep their lead growing, or get it growing again. Parnell. Nothing there. Well, the Panthers will kick it back to the Guelfi, presumably at the start of the 4th quarter, because no need to do anything with a sense of urgency when you lead by 26. That is indeed the end of the quarter.
Fine del terzo quarto.
See you back here for the 4th, right after this.
Sean's Irish Taverns offer great food and fun in a family sports bar atmosphere. And if you're looking for great burgers, steaks, salads, soups, and pizza, we've got you covered. Watch the biggest games every day with awesome food and drink specials. Looking for a banquet room for special parties? Sean's can take care of you. We're locally owned and operated and are proud to be active members of the Northwest Ohio community. Stop into any of the Sean's Irish Taverns today. Just sit back and let us serve you.
What you've built is so impressive in every possible way. In BCSN's 20 years, what good have we done for the visibility of the City League and of your program?
Following us, giving us coverage. So you guys been around seeing what I've been through for my ups and downs, and it's been special because you guys seen me grow as a coach as well, so I appreciate you guys' support.
This 20th anniversary moment is brought to you by Heat and Frost Insulators, Local 45.
We're here for you, right around the corner, ready to serve, connecting our homes, our schools, and our local businesses. So we'll do whatever it takes every day to make sure you stay connected when it counts. Buckeye Broadband.
Roll into 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝗵𝗁 today for expert service on the best brands for your ride. Let our skilled techs help you save big so you can drive with confidence. Start tire shopping and request your appointment at 𝗦𝗽CE.com.
Sean's Irish Taverns offer great food and fun in a family sports bar atmosphere. And if you're looking for great burgers, steaks, salads, soups, and pizza, we've got you covered. Watch the biggest games every day with awesome food and drink specials. Looking for a banquet room for special parties? Sean's can take care of you. We're locally owned and operated and are proud to be active members of the Northwest Ohio community. Stop into any of the Sean's Irish Taverns today. Just sit back and let us serve you.
Roll into 𝗦𝗽CE today for expert service on the best brands for your ride. Let our skilled techs help you save big so you can drive with confidence. Start tire shopping and request your appointment at 𝗦𝗽CE.com.
Fourth quarter here in Ravenna at the Estadio Bruno Benelli. Mason Lowry, Nick Gine, and all of our crew. It's delightful to have you along with us on this Saturday. Late afternoon, early evening back home in Northwest Ohio. Late night here. In fact, it's going to be midnight before this game ends. You know, the Parma Panthers will punt it away. Robbie Patterson is the punter. And Ryan DeLuca back to receive for the Guelfi. Fair catch called for and made at the 18. Let's welcome you back into the booth so we can all admire our handwriting. Nick, who you got for a defensive lineman of the game?
I can't believe you're doing this to me, but I apologize to all my elementary school teachers. You can't see it. I got to move a little bit closer maybe, but I've got 𝗦𝗽CE as the defensive lineman and Robbie Patterson as the MVP.
I too have Robbie Patterson. I've got Dennis 𝗏𝗏 as I try and get that into somewhere that's focused. Dennis 𝗏𝗏 had the forced fumble on a sack in the first quarter, that opening Guelfi drive that put them behind the 8-ball really from the jump. Neatly designed play to get 5 yards on first down for the Guelfi.
And let me compliment you, Mason, on your handwriting.
I focused so hard on that because my handwriting, generally speaking, is totally illegible. I did my darndest on that. Simeone, that's a neat little screen pass or pop pass or shovel pass to Stefano Bartoccioni. Gazzazzi almost wriggled free, but he stopped at the 33-yard line. Alemano and Parnell in there. I just love watching Gazzazzi run. He is so small. He's listed rather generously, I think, at 5'8". Having stood next to him, I don't think there's a chance in you-know-where that's an accurate assessment. Simeone gets about 7.
And again, in the Italian Bowl, he's made a great play and had a great game. So I think you have to give him a lot of credit for another fantastic kickoff return. Remember that game against the Cena and the upset they pulled a couple of years ago.
And this time, Cosimo's got nowhere to go. 𝗏𝗏, your pick was in there. I think Simone Bernardoni was the other.
And unfortunately, Gazzatti's banged up, and you hate to see that. He's such a fun player to watch.
I hope it's no more than a cramp. It is that kind of night, climate-wise. That's his left calf that's being stretched out. So in conjunction with the Italian Bowl, there was also a business forum conducted in Bologna yesterday. You helped set up for that, and you also shuttled Mayor 𝗏𝗏𝗏 to the location. How did that all go, and what is the Regional Growth Partnership in Jobs Ohio? What do you think they're getting out of this?
We had a really good meeting with a number of different businesses and in and around the Bologna area, an area of Italy known for manufacturing, advanced manufacturing. And then this morning, the group from the RGP and from the Toledo area was able to tour the Techno Gym headquarters, which is one of the most impressive corporate headquarters I've ever seen. That group has a goal to really expand the Techno Gym product
into the United States further. In fact, Techno Gym, I believe, is the equipment that is in the University of Toledo's facility.
Oh.
I can tell you, Mason, some of the stuff they're doing with exercise equipment is amazing. And to think that Techno Gym, and if you're not familiar with the company or its founder, I can't recall the gentleman's first name, his last name is Alessandri, the founder of Techno Gym. He started it in his parents' garage when he was 23 and built the world's first hack squat.
ภิměani, it's the kind of run that he does best. Whoa, here we go again.
And these two teams, they just...
Zanardi got a big shove from Francesco Lazzaro. Zemo Gazzani wants, I'm sure, to get out there into the middle of that. Some of the unsportsmanlike conduct calls have been borderline. That was about as egregious as they come without punches actually being thrown. You know, when you said Techno Gym, my first thought was the Cybertruck, but I have to assume that Techno Gyms don't rust quite so easily.
Il risultato dell'azione è un primo down Guelfi. A palla morta, fallo personale, colpo in ritardo, Guelfi numero 66. 15 yard di penalità e comunque primo down.
Defensive lineman kind of hanging on to ภิměani a bit too long, and his offensive lineman didn't appreciate too much of that, but took it out on Flavio Zanardi, the wrong guy.
It's really an impressive headquarters for Techno Gym to see what started in a garage in 1983 to now see almost a 400,000 square foot facility dedicated to exercise equipment and really advanced, the most advanced exercise equipment I think I've ever seen.
So after all that, it's still a first down, but back at the 31-yard line. Andrea ภิměani on the run. Will take off up the sideline. He's out of bounds at midfield. Another flag. Boy, count them up. So at the end of the third quarter, and my thanks to the IFL staff, they've brought up running statistics for us. Guelfi had 10 penalties for 104 yards. The Panthers 9 for 75. I'm not sure where the penalty might be, looking at that.
And again, it's a similar penalty number, Mason, but it feels like, and I think we're probably right, all the penalties that the Guelfi have just been in critical instances that have killed drives or really put them in a position for them not to be able to get a first down.
The answer is yes, by the way. This does have audio, if you heard that at home. Perhaps someone thinking twice about saying a string of profanities.
Ci sono due falli nell'azione. Holding, attacco numero 88, 10 yard di penalità. A palla morta, comportamento antisportivo della panchina Guelfi, 15 yard di penalità ed è un primo down Guelfi comunque.
Boy, oh boy.
This has really been something. A cascade of penalties in the second half.
And just as a football fan, there's no need for the personal fouls for the Guelfi. And I didn't expect that from them as a team, so I'm really surprised that that's happened. The holding's okay, but just far too many. They're better than that.
They are.
All I'm going to say, they're better than that, and they need to be doing better than that.
Probabilmente si discute sullo scopo della palla, cioè sul
conversation continues. That's kind of been a hallmark of refereeing in the IFL the last couple of years as we've known it. Officials that will take as long as is necessary to make sure everything is correct. Now I've got the side judge who's come in. You can see the players' arms glistening with sweat. It is so humid here. There's 10 minutes and 2 seconds left in the game. Guelfi comeback seems unlikely. But who knows? Anything can happen, and it usually does in the Italian Football League. Getting loud in here again with the air horns, etc. Fimiani tripped up well before the original line of scrimmage.
And Jalen Parnell continuing to make plays on both sides of the football. He is going to be exhausted after this football game.
He will have earned a real good night's sleep. Andrea Fimiani, second 13, plenty of time. Over the middle, almost intercepted. 𝗦𝗫𝗏 almost got another. He leads the league with 6. He was undercut by Ryan 𝗏𝗏.
Yes, he was. Perhaps he might have had that interception.
Maybe turned and was like, my bad. Third down.
A good feel for the football. 𝗦𝗫𝗏 just knows right where to put himself in position to make plays. And another false start penalty.
Passo partenza, attacco numero 1, 5 yard di penalità e ancora terzo down.
I don't think I've ever seen a game at a level like this in which a wide receiver has committed 2 false starts in the same game. Alex Lavella, the American from New York.
The lack of focus from the Guelfi has just been, it's been present the whole game. And here again, I think they're going to get him for a false start.
And really, it started in the opening minutes.
It did.
It was after the fumble that was forced by Dennis Bilkari.
Procedura illegale d'attacco, snap illegale, 5 yard di penalità e ancora terzo down.
This team looks more like the Bologna Warriors than they do the Guelfi from Florence.
That is both cruel and impossible to disagree with. 3rd and 23 after the 2 penalties. Fimiani stepping up, trying to stay on the right side of the line of scrimmage so he can throw a pass, which he does. But still 10 yards shy of the first down. That's 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, who has 5 touchdowns on the year. Fourth down. Of course, the Warriors wouldn't have gotten a 12-yard gain on 3rd and 23.
No. That's true. They may have punted at that point.
Fimiani looking long for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Incomplete.
Every chance they have an opportunity to get back into a game and do something.
Been a night full of drop passes.
Another one.
Off his hands. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 was there, whose dad is a coach on this Panthers staff. In fact, it was his father that, along with last year's imports, which included Ryan 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, also Anthony Paoletti and Alexis Ramos, walked us around Parma. We spent 3 hours with them, just walking around with the imports that had only been there for maybe 2 weeks. We got to shoot a segment of what we decided to call IFL Cribs. They showed us the apartment that they were staying in. We ended up doing the same with Jared Gerbino and Dijon Lynch at the Guelfi in Florence. Very fun trip. This one has been as well. Jalen Parnell up the middle and gets a couple extra yards after contact. He ran over Alex Ferrari.
So you got to mention Ryan 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Before the season, a big deal for him to come back. He saw that there was a lot of former NFL talent coming to the IFL that hadn't been there the year before, last year when they won the Italian Bowl. He said, I want to come back. I want to see how I measure up against the Italian. And the NFL talent that was here in the IFL. And in consecutive playoff games, and saw both of those teams with NFL talent did well, continued on, and they've won another Italian Bowl.
This time Parnell is wrapped up from behind by Diego Rinaldi.
So you wonder if this is the last we'll see of Ryan Benetti, and he'll be coming back to the States and beginning on the path to, let's say, normalcy. That's not the world of American football in Italy, and these guys, it's not like the NFL. At some point, if you're on the American import side, that journey comes to an end, and then real life begins in the United States. And if it is, I mean, what a wild ride, what a fantastic career Ryan Benetti has had.
If he does indeed go out at the end of this year, to not know losing in professional football is a heck of a thing. Robbie Patterson goes down. How do you play this down if you're the Panthers here? It's probably too deep to try a field goal. You obviously can't punt. So I guess just go for it. Maybe keep it on the ground, try and run more clock.
Go for it and then try to continue to run the football.
Fourth and 5. Trying to get inside the 21.
C'è Mignini nel backfield, la posizione di running back a fianco a Patterson che riceve lo snap.
Patterson moving laterally, still going, making Safiano chase him. And well, he caught it when he was down on his knees. Doesn't much matter in the end. It's Guelfi football. So that will go over to 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗵𝘁𝗹𝘆 Guelfi. Offense has kind of petered out for the Panthers in the second half, but when you score 31 before halftime, you really don't need to do much more.
TV timeout.
At the media break, at the midway point of the fourth quarter, the Panthers still up big on the Guelfi. An Italian Bowl 43.
SUVs are super popular right now, and Dunn has 10 different models to offer. But I have to be honest, I'm a pickup man. We have Colorados, Silverados, and Silverado HD. Our pickup lineup covers all the bases. Our Colorado diesel gets 30 miles per gallon. Our Silverados are safe and luxurious. And our HD can tow over 17,000 pounds. Find your pickup at DunnChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Choosing your own direction means choosing how you spend your time. At Directions Credit Union, we help you manage your time and your money by giving you access to technology that works for you. Our online and mobile banking makes depositing and transferring money between accounts a breeze. Prefer real FaceTime? Our knowledgeable team is available to meet with you at any of our convenient branches. It's easy to choose your own direction. Become a member today at directionscu.org. Directions Credit Union.
Well, it has been a long and frustrating night for anybody wearing purple. Guelfi down 31-0 at halftime. They have committed so many penalties, committed 2 turnovers in the first half as well. And this little second half charge. And in the end, be too little too late.
Yeah.
How did 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗁 not go down back there? The ground gave out from under him. He still turned it into a gain of a couple.
And I think the toughest part for the Guelfi is they came in, they really believed they were going to win this game. They believed it was their time. They believed they were going to make up for losing last year in Toledo. So all the confidence was there. It's just they came out way too flat and committed too many turnovers.
That is vintage Andrea 𝗵𝗵𝗁𝗁. 𝗵𝗵𝗁𝗁 down to the 30-yard line, throws a stiff arm at Zanardi. I beg pardon, at Michelangelo Leone, and forces him out.
Yeah, there's no quit for Andrea 𝗵𝗵𝗁𝗁.
Penny for Francesco Felizi's thoughts right now. Exhausted and staring at the sky. Best run of the day from Andrea Fimiani. Now DeLuca is at quarterback. He can run it himself quite effectively. He's averaging just under 8 yards a carry. They will not quit until the clock is at zeros and the referee is holding the ball aloft over his head. Throw near center, caught. Excuse me, it's Giacomo 𝗦𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗶𝗆.
17 yard, ricezione buona per un altro primo down per i Guelfi.
It just took them far too long to find any kind of rhythm on their offense because it was severely lacking in the first half. The 2 turnovers certainly didn't help. DeLuca broken up. That's a good clean play by Ryan Benetti.
Ferma il tempo a 4:43, Guelfi riprenderanno con 1 secondo e 10.
Pretty good read, pretty good ball. Just, you know, it should have been caught really, but it gives you a real good vantage point of when DeLuca's release, which is kind of unorthodox.
It is a bit different.
Slings it out there. It's not a traditional throwing motion.
Well, the Guelfi have had great success with atypical quarterbacks.
Yes.
Andrea Fimiani and Jared Urbino last year both threw the ball kind of similarly. That's tipped to the line. And DeLuca, of course, played wide receiver at Furman for 4 years. Really reliable offensive producer for the Paladins. They have a similar color scheme to the Guelfi. They got the same shade of purple at least. 3rd and 10. Stefano Bartoccioni, who does not have a carry in this game, is in the backfield. He will try and open up a hole for Fimiani. Can't really do it. Fimiani finds a pathway anyway. He's tackled at the 13.
Oh,
that is just so absurd from Andrea Grillo to shove over Dennis 𝗏𝗏𝗏 and then stand over, and then another flag. He might end up getting thrown out of this game. National team offensive lineman.
I really don't get it, Mason. I mean, that to me is just not football.
It's absurd. It really is. I understand the frustration, but Dennis 𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Jalen Parnell trying to get the Panther half of the crowd into it, and I hope it's coming through at home just how energetic this crowd is. It may not look it from TV, and it's the same issue that the Glass Bowl faced last year, where they had all the fans on the side where you could sit under the shade of the press box. There were very few people across the way. Here there's nobody sitting in the 3 separate structures that are stands along the opposite sideline, but the side that we are on is quite full.
Ci sono 2 falli nell'azione. A palla morta, comportamento antisportivo, attacco numero 64. A palla morta, comportamento antisportivo, numero 64. Sono 2 penalità da 15 yard. Il numero 64 è espulso dalla partita.
Well, it's consecutive personal fouls, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, and you just cannot do that. Andrea Grillo is out of here with 4:24 remaining.
And there's just no reason, you know, I don't care how many points you are down. I mean, you can't do that.
No, you really can't.
It's just not football. It's not respectful to the game. And you know, I couldn't see anything that really prompted it either, you know.
No, you could see Dennis 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 just kind of slowly backing away from the quarterback, and Grillo took exception to it, and I guess once you've shoved once, doing it a second time is easy enough. In for a penny, in for a pound, as they say. We do apologize for the issues with the video that we have been having throughout this game. It's an issue on the end of the Italian feed. It's something that we have worked all game long to correct, but have not been able to do so because there's only so much we can do. So we do apologize for that, hoping to get the video up and running again momentarily. I guess in the meantime, you're going to watch us do our jobs, perhaps, and you're maybe going to get a radio-style commentary from the beauty camp. Andrea Fimiani standing at the 50-yard line. A looking ladder started with DeLuca, who's given back to Dijon Lynch. No marching band in the end zone for the run into, while on Kevin Stanford back in the 80s. Wouldn't mind to see a bit more of Dijon Lynch on offense. At the end of the season, I think he lost don't know what it could be. What else could possibly be?
Example of turnover of a situation that
Yeah, in terms of the emotional approach to this, I know they're from Florence, but they're playing like they're from Rome.
Yes.
If I've learned anything about what Romans are like from you, Nick Ide, who played with Lazio for a time.
It does very much so. You bring up a good point. I mean, I played there in the years that I played there. The most successful year I had in 2009, when we were able to get to the Italian Bowl. It was really something we had to work with and tone down, and not let the emotions get the best of our players. And today, Florence has not been able to do that.
Glad to say that we do have video back now with 3:55 remaining. 𝗦𝗫ＣE_𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝗹𝘆, only a second carry of the game, smothered in the backfield for a loss. Jim Nimstov in there, along with Andrea Pugnatelli and Dejan Lynch. Thank you, video issues and such. They also knocked out the scoreboard here for a bit. Back up and running again. Hopefully we can get through the final 3.5 minutes without incident. It is still Robbie Patterson in the game. Still Ryan Minetti out there also. I wondered if Tommaso Minardi might come in. Get a snap or two down the stretch. Now 33 years old. He has been with the Panthers for a long time. Never been the kind of runner that Andrea Fumiani is. In fact, few are, but as a pure passer, he's been terrific. For the better part of a decade.
Great career, great decision making.
Dobson shaking hands with one of the Panthers linemen. I will never miss an opportunity to say Hobson Dobson.
A fun name to say, but a very good football player too, and a really bright future for them as well. I think you're going to see an expanded role for him on the defensive line in years to come.
Destiny Young Obi, number 71, also on the D-line. 17 years old, 6'1", 320 pounds. And he is very strong. He's not very quick, but he's quite strong.
I almost did Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Help us, Destiny Young Obi. You're our only hope. He may well be in a few years' time.
No, they're very, very excited about his potential. Very young player as well.
Two-minute warning.
Mancano 2 minuti. Avviso dei 2 minuti.
And you folks at home, I can say good morning to you if you're watching this live. It is now 12:01 on the 30th of June. And it's just now 6 o'clock back home at Eastern Time in Ohio. Wherever you may be watching in English around the world. Punts. Lynch back for it. Will not have a chance at a return. That will almost certainly be another penalty. Certainly ought to be. Jeez. Against 𝗦𝗫CE, who's trying to get at someone, and now penalty against him. You know, I have to say, when you do the chirping motion, you can't do that when you're down by 26.
No, I don't get that. And you know, but here's a good example of leadership too. Dejan Lynch is not that type of player at all. Doesn't stand for that.
No.
Sent his teammate to the sideline. He's been that guy, and you know, the only downside is for Dejan, like you said, as a defensive back, your impact on the game because nobody throws to your side is somewhat limited. On offense, you could have probably done well to see a little bit more of him as a receiver.
Robbie Patterson with his young offensive coordinator cheering him on. Such a well-coached Parma Panthers team.
Yes.
You wonder how intact they will be next year. They've got a lot of veteran defensive linemen on this squad.
Oh, boy.
Another whistle that took a while for anybody to notice.
Time out.
not win the game, but to have two crucial penalties, not penalties, but turnovers in the first half, the fumble and the interception that was returned for a touchdown. I feel so badly for him. I do wonder if maybe he and the rest of his Guelfi teammates just wanted it a little too badly.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. I think the psychology of you want it too bad, it becomes too emotional that you're not able to focus on one play at a time, focus on your job, and then you start to make mistakes, and then it gets emotional, and then you start having the penalties.
Parma fans aren't letting up, that's for sure. Screen pass, bobbled and dropped by 𝗦𝗫𝗀𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗹𝘆. And somebody called the local paper in Bologna, which has an interesting translated name I remember reading the other day, and let them know that there was just a play in this game that did not have an unsportsmanlike penalty at the end of it. Il Resto del Carlino. It is one of the oldest newspapers in Italy. It is based in Bologna, and the name translates to the change you get from a Carlino, dating back to a time when the old papal currency was used, and newsstands that sold cigarettes would give out a sheet of local news in exchange for the change back for a dime that was what a cigarette or a cigar.
One of my most enjoyable things about doing these games with you is how much I learn, Mason. Learn about Italian history, American history, football history.
They need to pick up one of those newspapers at the B&B Hotel tomorrow morning.
A lot of celebrations there on the Parma Panthers sidelines. They are the best team in Italy again, 2024. Absolutely dominant.
Giuliani trying to punch it in one more time. 5 into the end zone for the touchdown. Will it stand?
And guess what? A penalty, I don't know where.
Will this be a hold again? That was thrown in kind of holding territory when receivers are blocking downfield.
Fallo personale.
Even worse. That's a 15-yard penalty rather than a 10.
This has to be one of the sloppiest football games I think I've ever seen, Mason. And it's not just offense, it's offense, defense, special teams. It's everything from the Guelfi.
All you can do is shrug your shoulders sometimes as a coach when nothing's going right, and that freight train has left the tracks and you can do nothing to stop it.
Nothing, and I'm surprised at the lack of concentration, surprised at the penalties, but most surprised at just lack of competitiveness. From the Guelfi, they did not expect that. I expected a close game. I think we both did.
Mezza distanza dalla goal line, sarà un primo down Guelfi.
There was a blindside block against the Guelfi, and then a sideline personal foul. I didn't notice the sideline warning announced earlier on a second sideline infraction. It is then a personal foul. It won't make that much of a difference in the end. 46 seconds left. Glad some of the Guelfi sideline can find a moment to smile.
And just noticed an embrace between Diego Rinaldi and Deshaun Lynch. And it looked like the type of embrace where, we talked about Ryan Benetti maybe being his last game. It might be the end of what has been a tremendous career for Deshaun Lynch, a huge part of the one and only Italian Bowl win the Guelfi had against the Milano Seamen a few years ago. And this may be his last game, and a lot of the players now coming in and thanking him and negative for a wonderful career.
ภิmiani to the end zone. Touchdown catch by 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗶𝘆. All he can do is shake his head from his knees because as delighted as I'm sure he is to score in the championship game, it's much too little, much too late. Go for two again. But even then, it would only make it 38-20, and that's just not possible with 37 seconds ภิmiani on the move. Caught. That is caught for the two-point conversion. Off of Flavio Zanardi, and sliding in to grab it was 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗹𝘆. So they have finally found something that works, but it took the better part of a half hour to figure that out, and at that point, it wasn't going to happen. Shutout in the first half. They have won the second half, 20-7, but that's full comfort right now. And finally, somebody has set off a smoke bomb over to our right. I thought that might happen a lot sooner. Yeah, there we are. Perfect timing. And a really big thank you to the Italian crew based here with guys like Manfredi and Leonardo, guys that work incredibly hard behind the scenes to get these Italian broadcasts on the air. We are given a clean feed during the regular season and the playoffs, and we will tape them sometime after the fact. They do a really, really good job. They're not only so passionate about football, but they're passionate about television production. And I am so happy that we get the chance to work with them, that we've gotten to know these guys. That's a drop by the Panthers on the onside kick. That was Guelfi went for it. Well, on the phone, there's a thoroughly dejected-looking Matteo Guelfi makes his way back to the sideline. It shouldn't be possible, should it? You wouldn't think.
I can't think it's possible.
You wouldn't think.
I mean, you'd need 3 touchdowns in 32 seconds. One touchdown every 10 seconds. How do you like that for a quick man?
It's better than I could have done.
I got that.
I don't do math. I just half remember the names of ancient Italian newspapers. Timeout, Panthers.
Ultimo timeout.
That smoke continues to waft over the field of play. It's a lot like being at a Toledo Villa match back home when Villa scores and the Black Swamp Brigade set off their flares. Well, they certainly don't think it's too early to start celebrating. 18-point lead. I think Guelfi scores the last 14 points. It was 38-7. No, it was 38-0. They scored 20 in this. ภิmiani.
One hop to two.
Yeah. He does stop the clock.
I think they were going to try the double pass there. Just Andrea one hop the ball to Ryan DeLuca. Ball start just continues to be. I can't say I've seen a more disorganized football effort. Never seen this from the Guelfi.
Their penalty total will be north of 15. Yeah. It'll be between 15 and 20, and that is just staggering. ภิmiani, the belly on the sideline incomplete. He comes down out of bounds. Not even close. Not even close. talked about the mentality, the psychology of what it can do to you when you want something for so long, so badly, and then it sets in that you aren't going to get it. The sort of descent into madness that you can collectively make as a team, and it kind of felt like the Guelfi had fallen into that trap once they were about 2 touchdowns down. It took them until the fourth quarter really to start looking like themselves again.
Oh, another flag are we seeing here?
It's in the secondary this time. No penalty. Flag will be picked up. 12 seconds left.
La palla morta, fallo personale, violenza non necessaria, difesa numero 29, 15 yardi di penalità, primo down.
Federico Santella was called for a personal foul, and that flies in the face of any public address, as you said. A chance for the Guelfi to score one more time. They do one last play. Andrea and company going for the end zone. That's caught. Ryan DeLuca. Maybe his last act as a Guelph. As his first season with the team comes to an end. So ultimately, this will be in the end maybe only a 10-point game. But based on how dominant the Panthers were in the first really 3 quarters, it's nowhere near that close.
No, I think this at the end of the day, the final score is not going to indicate at all how dominant Parma has been throughout this game.
Fabiani throws a slam that's incomplete. Labella was jammed at the line of scrimmage by Michelangelo and Leone.
La partita è terminata.
And that's it. Now the Panthers can celebrate. It's been coming. Who would have imagined 6 weeks ago the Parma Panthers, then 3-3, would win their final 5 games and blow out the likes of the Scorpions and these Guelfi in the postseason?
Yeah, really an impressive, amazing postseason run. They beat the 3 best teams right in a row leading up to the Italian Bowl and beat them, really the Scorpions and the Guelfi beat them convincingly, Mason.
Fanny Bentley, the winning captain last year, who got to hoist the trophy aloft. He may well get to do it again here in Ravenna. So the Panthers go back-to-back, 38-26 the final. Back to the Stadio Bruno Benelli right after this.
We are Team, Toledo Elementary Athletics Movement. We are a 100% volunteer-supported local nonprofit. We are here for Toledo's youth. Our mission is simple. We give deserving local kids the chance to play organized sports, and we need your help. We need donations and volunteers to join Team on our mission. We are Team, and we're ready to play. Scan the QR code or search us on Facebook to find out more.
At Charlie's Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, we know life is full of adventures, daily tasks, good friends, and family activities. We also know nothing beats having the perfect vehicle to fit your lifestyle, your personality, and your budget. Make this the summer of Ram and lease the 2025 Ram 1500 Crew Cab Bighorn 4x4 for just $359 per month for 42 months or $289 per month for 27 months with lease loyalty. Find your next new vehicle at Charlie's Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Charlie's Dodge, doing it different, doing it right.
The BCSN Summer Bowling Classic is back. See how we roll Thursdays from interstate lanes at 9 p.m. on the NLL Network as we strike up all the excitement the BCSN Summer Bowling Classic has to offer. Who will walk away each week as King of the Hill? Tune in to find out. The BCSN Summer Bowling Classic is brought to you by Champion's Choice Pro Shop, located inside Timbers Bowling Lanes.
Lots of care.
Lots of attention.
Lots of friends. Lots of laughs.
Lots of smiles.
Aviva Glendale. Lots of love.
Well, the Parma Panthers are the heroes of Italian Bowl 43. 38-26 winners over Guelfi, who have now lost consecutive Italian Bowls. They are playing Heroes by David Bowie. That's a song that was recorded in Berlin, which is where the Italian soccer team got bounced from the European Championships by Switzerland this afternoon. But Italian heroes in Ravenna here to be sure. The Parma Panthers led 38-0 at one point. 26 unanswered points from Guelfi, but much too little, much too late. Ultimately, the Guelfi outgained the Panthers 4-13 to 3-11, which really doesn't come as that much of a surprise because Parma really closed up shop offensively in the second half. They had their 30-plus point lead, and that was more than enough. They focused on trying to run the clock when they did have possession of the football. Parma celebrating in front of their fans. Air horns going off everywhere. This has been such a fun atmosphere in a really interesting city. Very, very close to the Adriatic coast. And really, it's, as we've said, the start of a big weekend for sport in Emilia-Romagna, and especially in Ravenna. This game tonight, the Tour de France coming through tomorrow, and the final round of the Italian Open as well on the European Tour golf circuit. Trophies and medals yet to be handed out. The reason you've not yet heard Nick Ide's voice is that he will be down on the field presenting, I believe, the MVP trophy, and he is down there now. 𝗦𝗫Ce𝗶𝗵𝗵 is out there making his way to midfield. I cannot get over the market improvement of this Parma Panthers team from the start of the year when we saw them, and we thought this team does not have a prayer, as they are right now, of winning another Italian Bowl and repeating. In fact, wow indeed. In fact, we thought there was a genuine chance they would lose to the Legnano Frogs in the wild card round. Legnano had beaten them 55-50 in the regular season, but the Panther defense held them to just 20 points in the wild card, a 29-20 win, and then after the 𝗦𝗫Ce Scorpions, the #1 seed all season long into the regular season, a perfect 8-0. They had beaten 38-34, beat the Panthers in the regular season. The Panthers held them to 7 points 2 weeks ago in the semis, and then tonight to keep this Guelfi offense off the board until the midway point of the third quarter. That is really, really something. An heroic outing by that Panther defense. Jalen Parnell, 7.5 tackles. Marco Grossi had 5.5. Bill Curry, we talked about, he was my vote for defensive lineman of the game. 4.5 tackles with one tackle for loss, 1 forced fumble. Jalen Parnell, 13 carries, 70 yards, a touchdown. Robbie Patterson, 34 carries and a score, also threw 2 touchdowns. And didn't make any mistakes, 161 yards. Dario Zanti and Tommaso Pianatri, the 2 touchdown receptions. And, of course, Lorenzo Alemano, the teenager, 17 years old. He could still be in high school back in the States. Picking off the pass, returning it for a touchdown in his national championship game. Vanni Belli, nearly 40 years old now. We just saw him gesturing up to someone in the crowd. Told me last year on the field of the Glass Bowl, I don't know if I'm going to come back for another one. This seems like a pretty good way to go out. This might be an even better way to go out, to win your national championship at home in Ravenna. Not that long of a drive from Parma, even. There's just so much emotion in everything that these guys and their family do. I always assumed it was that way, never having visited Italy before last February 2023, but it absolutely is the case, and you just know this is going to sting the Guelfi so hard until next year. It's going to keep a guy like Andrea Fimiani up at night, thinking about where he went wrong and how wrong he went and how early it happened. So they're still sorting out trophies. I think they may be tabulating votes. Nick Iden Mayor 𝗦𝗽ście𝗶𝘶𝗶𝘵 on the right side of your screen. Post-game huddle, I believe that's Lorenzo Della-Piaggi who was leading that huddle. An absolute emotional leader on defense and a darn good one. He had been out injured most of the year. Yeah. Manfredi Leone, that's him in the white shirt in the middle of your screen, sticking his tongue out. All of us in the stadium really feel that way. It's been a long and very hot day. Most of them are this time of year in this part of the country. Donnie Belli is going to get to hoist that big trophy aloft in hopefully just a few minutes' time. By the way, the penalty numbers, I conjectured with Nick it would be somewhere between 15 and 20 for the Guelfi. 19 penalties, 204 penalty yards. That is just staggering. It is impossible to win a game of football when you commit 19 penalties, and they are all that meaningful. .311 yards of offense in total for the Parma Panthers. And it was pretty evenly split between rushing and passing. These are two teams that really like to run the football, but Parma threw for 161 and ran for 150. And Guelfi ran for 230 and threw for 183. Cycling back through the postgame playlist again with heroes. Well, we will stay on the air for the next 3 minutes. We have Toledo Mudhens baseball coming up live on BCSN. We cannot go over our allotted time. We'll be bringing you that game in its entirety. So we may not see all, much of, or indeed any of the postgame presentation. Right now, the officiating crew, led by Stefano D'Amico in the white hat at the back of the line, who has done so very well, marshaling a very difficult game to officiate that had 31 total penalties in it. I thought he did as good a job as he possibly could to keep a lid on things. In the end, only had to eject one player. That was Andrea Grillo, the left tackle for Firenze Guelfi. They're holding three fingers up, and I wonder if that's we're going to three-peat next year. How many of these guys might be back? We said they've got kind of an aging defensive line. But the imports are still young. Jalen Parnell is pretty young, and Ryan Meniti, if he wanted to come back for another year, I'm sure they would have him. Robbie Patterson really grew over the course of this year. He's been out of college at University of Montana for a couple of seasons. And for the Guelfi, we saw that hug between Dejan Lynch and Diego Rinaldi, and you wonder if maybe Dejan knows that he's done after, I think it's 3 years playing for Florence and playing in other European cities when the IFL is in their off-season. They could look pretty darn different next year. We'll see. Wouldn't be that great of a surprise to see these two teams in Toledo again. He's got to be gassed. Marcello Leone plays every snap on defense, plays a lot of special teams for them as well. So your final score in Italian Bowl, 43. 38-26. The Parma Panthers have won it again. They won every year from 2011 to 2014, again in 21, and now back-to-back in 23 and 24. And now the road to Toledo can begin. An Italian Bowl 44 next year. Maybe we can even improve on the 12,000 fans that came through last year onto the campus of the University of Toledo. Everybody had a wonderful time. We had a wonderful time bringing you this IFL season. For Nick Ide and all of our crew, this is Mason Lowry saying so long from Ravenna. This IFL season is in the books. Congratulations to the Parma Panthers, champions once again.
Roll into Midas today for expert service on the